Audience participation, light-hearted show with lots and lots of Cayman jokes, culture, and guests. As we talk about things we say and do, it happening every third Friday on Talk Today.
You are saying is a special feature of Talk Today, jointly produced by the National Museum and Radio Cayman, a language, history, and culture show. Remember, it's every third Friday on 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Proudly sponsored by Cayman National Bank, proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
See what I'm saying? Begins right now.
Where it is. Wait, we're not ready.
Yeah, we ready?
No, we're not ready.
But Susan's ready.
Yeah,
she's got on live. All right, Miss Susan, are you ready for us? She's here. Yeah, keep talking, Ray. Ray! All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know we're live here on our monthly edition of See What I Was Saying, and this is where we are asking you to be a part of it. Good company of Dr. Steve McField and Dr. Frank McField joining us. Ray, when you say you had a surprise.
Yes, this is a surprise. Yeah. No. So you familiar? Have you've been briefed about this show?
Have you signed a disclaimer?
Are you heard us before?
Yeah, well, I hear what you say. Yeah. And I know what you mean too.
Well, we joking, but we're serious.
Yeah,
the stuff is serious.
Yeah, man.
It's serious as gems.
I know you're serious. The amount of stuff you sent me to be looking at. So good afternoon, everybody. Please, not only stay tuned, get involved and be a part of it. It is December. This is what I like about this.
Well, we might clarify the ad. The ad turned the show into pining. The whole show is pining, which is okay, I guess. But it's actually about December. We want to do happenings in December throughout the history. So we want to do like say in '69 and then say close to 50. See now, you see.
All right.
You got your phones.
All right. So
okay. Yeah, I thought we would escape with that one, but
No, we won't, sir. We won't. We won't. But it's going to be happenings in December.
December throughout the ages. We got 1910-ish and 1830s, things like that. And they're not all Christmassy and fun. I'll tell you from now.
December.
So just happening. So random happenings in December.
And that's the thing, too, Dr. Steve, the idea that December is that time. I think, for me, and I don't know that it's not the same for other people, September and December, both were transition periods, both times of expectation, anxiety, apprehension, but excitement.
Why September?
Because September always seems to be where you're going into school, where the seafarers were noticeably absent, where hurricanes were looming, and that was my take on it, right? And as September rolled in, there was the expectation, the jubilance, and then the festivities.
I thought you were saying it was the after effects of December.
I said transition, so
February was the transition period where you knew that your dad and your uncles were leaving to go back.
Yeah.
Usually they get their call to come back to work after January, February, and in September now was when you were. I don't know if you.
That's when they left after Christmas.
September before Christmas.
Yeah.
Was the time when you were anticipating the allotment.
You mean pining?
And also the packages.
Oh, yeah.
Remember from National Bellassess and Montgomery Ward, and from Sayers Roebuck, the catalogs. Remember, you would go and borrow people's catalogs.
You're going to tell us that story about the people who didn't get their full order?
Oh, yeah, I want to tell about Shelburne and Ho. yeah. And I'm going to also tell you the story about Miles A. Miles A. and Leon Bird. That was a Christmas morning fiasco.
Oh, and I heard that one.
Yeah, you haven't heard that one
yet?
No.
No.
But and I want you to tell us, but as you tell us, and I would ask Ray, with your permission, of course, people listening, that they recall some of these happenings in December, and good or bad, so do we see it. But sorry, Dr. Steve, you were sharing, so
yeah. So you, I was good at that. I used to help neighbors to make out their orders. You would have their order form, and they would fill them, use them.
The Bellassess.
The Bellassess, the National Montgomery Ward, and things like Sayers Roebuck, and you would fill out your your form, your order form. You would send it to your brother or your uncle or your father or someone who was out at sea. And they would put in the US dollars and forward it on.
So, hold on. How long will this take, though?
Well, that's why you would have to start from like September.
You
see?
Than that.
And then around the end of November now, the first week of December now, you'd wait till the Simboko or the Murko or the Antares or the ADH the other ship come in, and you go down to the post office and inquire whether your package came or not, and you have all these packages pile up behind the counter. Wow. And of course, you have to go and pay the duty on them. Very little duty in those days to get your package, and you carry it home. Now, when you carry home your package, now your parents would put that up. Now, they would open the package. They would on the outside would see all the things that you ordered. You know, the itemized things you ordered. And when you see, yes, my belt is there. Yes, my pair of shoes is there. Then they would take those and put them up someplace in a room or something, a lock. Until Christmas, they open them up, and then you would get all those things at Christmas.
I had a little thing for
because remember now, there weren't a lot of tailors in those days, but there were a lot of dressmakers and stuff, and people made clothes by hand.
And seeing them from the magazines.
And from the magazines, they would get the patterns from the magazine. They would order the patterns from the magazines, and don't forget too. In those magazines, they would have models modeling underwear, girdles and brassieres and things like this.
The brassieres and stuff.
And you were told, as a young boy, not to look at those pages.
You didn't. I know.
Not to look at those pages.
I didn't either.
Not to look at those pages.
More like inhale them.
Yeah, not to look at those pages. But isn't that something?
I shouldn't have said that.
Compare that to today.
Yeah.
Compare that to today.
Yeah, online.
Yes.
But you were talking. You're talking about how you seen. Did you see this one?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at the cover. The December 11th, 69 Caymanian Weekly.
Mm-hmm.
Caymanian. I actually had it in the title, and it says merchandise recovered, and this is customs. Somebody custom. So this would probably be like the mail order.
Yes.
And we can say it now because it's published and everything. I'm going to mention the people's name. Oh,
yes.
I need my spectacles.
Yes.
All right. And for those who are listening, we are not just having fun, but you recognize how much work. And I got to say a very, very special thanks to the guys over at the National Archives. Ray is probably the only person. I'm not allowed.
Yeah,
Ray's probably
your last. They got lost up in there.
Yeah,
coming from the bathroom.
They do a great job at preserving the stuff, but I love when that's an opportunity to access it.
Okay, who we have here? Police raid. It was a little funny too. Police raid Georgetown residence of George Wilkes.
Oh yes. Yes.
See already. Yes. Yeah, he apparently worked in the customs department, and at the he was found in unlawful possession of jams, rice. There's some other stuff missing. I can't see it. Rice, evaporated milk, coffee, sweet corn, tomato paste, right guard deodorant, hair oil, tape recorder cassettes, flashlight, batteries, silverware, cutlery, and 3 rolls of cloth. Wilkes was arrested on Thursday, and this is December, right? December 11th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 69. Wilkes was arrested on Thursday and appeared in court on Friday. Bail was granted. That Susan, tell me, hurry up. No.
Well, you notice
No.
how quick he was in court and how.
Yeah,
how quick
but check this out, though. Check what this out. Well, this is the little part, yeah. Roosevelt Williams, who was arrested by Sergeant Prince on the 2nd on a charge of larceny and postal articles and unlawful possession. That's your language. Was formerly employed by the Customs Department and was living in a room rented from Wilkes. So I don't know if there's any little thing going on. Somebody made somebody mad, or you know what I mean?
Yes, but you notice there was the things that they took were commodities that people were consuming. But you notice that it wasn't drugs.
No,
It wasn't that sort of stuff in those
Two
days.
rolls of cloth.
2 rolls of cloth and jam.
Yeah.
Jam and people
Some sweet corn.
and sweet corn. Very, very interested. And you notice how quickly they the police got him into court.
Yeah, well,
And how quickly they got bail the next day.
yeah. I wonder where he got the information from.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking at to see whether.
Well, in those days, the police knew everything. The police, in those days, they had real policing. They had neighborhood policing, and police walked on foot. They didn't have all these cars where the people drove around in air-conditioned cars. Then police walked on foot, and the neighbors told the police what they believed. If they saw a change in your lifestyle, and you know they would tell let the next neighbor know. Oh well, how is Banker? How Banker got a new car, and he working with customs, and I know, and you know what, he saw a raise too. you know, he can't be able to afford that. Must be something else happening. So you know,
Minding your business. Is what it is.
All right. But for December, though, I mean, when you look at December, it was more festive,
yes.
than less other stuff. What was it like? Because
Well, it's right under that.
Yeah.
If you go yours, you can see
Rachel,
it right
Rachel,
there.
yeah.
Rachel, Sitra.
Sitra.
18 months for stabbing. This was on the 3rd of December. And then again, a Leo Garnett Parchment was sentenced 18 months for hard labor. Hard labor?
In those days, hard labor, yes.
In Jamaica, what?
No, what you had to get out and work.
Oh.
Yes.
What kind of
Yeah,
work that was?
yeah. 6 to 9.
And that was it. That was
You probably went to Jamaica then. Yes. After anything after 9 months, you went to the Kingston Penitentiary.
he stabbed the guy, the manager at Galleon Beach.
Manager what?
Galleon Beach.
Of Galleon
That's
Beach?
what he done.
Wow.
David Mitchell, the manager at
Oh
Galleon
yes,
Beach.
I remember that. Yes, I remember that. I remember David. David Mitchell. You see, David was one of these Canadians who came from Canada after his boss bought Galleon Beach. The Galleon Beach was bought by a family called the McLeans. Remember Rod McLean? You remember Rod McLean?
I think so.
Rod McLean and his father and all those bought Galleon Beach, and that was when the tourism took off. When they started bringing all these people from Western Canada every fortnight. Remember, they would bring the flights full every 40 days, and then they would take the people back they brought the 40 days before, and they would be at Galleon Beach and at La Fontaine, and the McLeans had bought this new hotel, Galleon Beach, and they remodeled it and everything. And David Mitchell came down as manager. David used to work for McLean's in Vancouver, and David was one of these people, you know, who thought he was superior to the locals. You know, and acted superior to the locals, and he had this arrogant way about him, and he got into a fight there one evening, and some people stabbed him up, and that was
Apparently it was Leo Garnett Parchment.
that was how people dealt with things in those days.
That's one of them.
Today we talk a lot and things like that, and we threaten and talk a lot and complain to politicians, but people would go and say that not happening here. You see. And that's what would have happened in those days. They would have gone and done something about it, or done something to somebody.
And that's the time too, around the time that there was maybe some burning, some arsenic.
Yes. But that came afterwards. But
that's the same people and the same attitude. That
yes, but David Mitchell, David is from Vancouver. David Mitchell was from Vancouver, and the ownership of Galleon Beach was from Vancouver by the people called the McLeans. Rod McLean and his father. I know them quite well because they were clients of my ex-father-in-law's bank, the Royal Bank. My ex-father-in-law was their Royal Bank manager. Their manager. He came here one time before I got to know them. When I went to Vancouver and I met them, and he told me he'd been to Cayman, and I said, "What were you there for?" He said he went to look at Galleon Beach. And then he says to me, "Do you know this guy called
Leo Parchment?"
No, this guy. I think he works for the MRCU. He used to work for the MRCU. and he has a house down in Governor's Harbor.
Bugman, Lucido.
Yeah. He said, do you know him? And I said, yes. And he said, he was the one taking him around on his motorcycle in those days.
Well, I didn't realize
that. On his motorcycle, because there were no cars to hire mostly, and I think it was shortly after that, Captain Ordis got the pink ladies, but transportation wasn't like it is now. You get in the back of somebody's motorcycle or a car or something, and the roads there were no paved roads in West Bay in those days. The roads were made out of sand and marl.
Still kind of not.
Yeah. So
it's debatable.
So Christmas was a really happy time in those days. People look forward for the Christmas happening, look forward to all the men coming back from sea and families coming home from America in those days, when people who went away to America and came back or something, and they hear about, he got his papers, Man, he got his papers, boy. That means now he's an American citizen, or he got his green card. And of course then he had a level of elevation above the rest of the people, because America is where everybody wanted to go. And you was nothing until you went to America, to Havana, to Cuba. And so when you came back from there, everybody treated you like a god, like a prince. Even the men who came from National Bulk. So, they were all considered to be princes when they came through with their beautiful clothes, their see-through nylon shirts, and their watches, and their gold watches, and their gabardine pants, and their pretty socks, and their gabardine pants. I remember I used to wait till Ivan Farrington and Dougie and all these guys come up to Georgetown. We come up to see what they're wearing. After Mr. Ormond Patton's parlor down in Old Cardinal Avenue. And every day when they came home now, they would change their clothes twice a day. You just couldn't
the runway.
You just couldn't wear the same clothes today. You go home, change your clothes, and come back for the evening to show that you have to show that you were successful, that you're more successful than the local merchants, because the local merchants depended on you for their shops being stocked and things being sold. You were considered to be very, very important to the society in those days.
All right, Ray, when you come back from the break, Dr. Frank and Dr. Steve, and we can talk some more about it. It is our December to remember.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for Steve was saying.
I didn't mean to hurt her. Work was tough. We're struggling financially. I had a few drinks to relax, but then the argument started. It was a mistake to hit her. Now I don't have a job. I don't have a wife. I can't afford to feed my family. This was a hard lesson to learn. Never forget that walking away from something unhealthy is brave. Stop the slap. Stop the cycle. Stop the violence.
The Stop the Slap campaign, proudly sponsored by Foster's IGA. Stop the slap. Stop the cycle. Stop the violence.
On the 11th day of Christmas,
Foster's gave to me 3 K-Man Cookout Barefoot Barbecue at Royal Palms tickets. Shop today only to be entered to win 3 K-Man Cookout Barefoot Barbecue tickets brought to you by Jergens. Purchase specially marked products to enter the Foster's IGA 12 Days of Giving. Visit us in store or online and check us out on social media to see all our sponsors, the daily prizes, and the 3 grand prizes. Free groceries for up to a year. Learn more at fosters-iga.com.
Congratulations to the 2018 Junior Achievement Company Retire. Gold medal winners of the J.A. America's Company of the Year competition held recently in Lima, Peru. Cayman Company Retire outperformed junior achievement teams from 19 countries, including Canada, many countries from Latin America and the Caribbean. Team Cayman, sponsored by Cayman Airways, was an environmental recycling company providing inspiration to junior achievement companies across the Western Hemisphere. Congratulations to team leader Martina Watler and 13 team members, including Alex Bodden, Sharon Roy, Samra from Rudy Tagal Palawar and Carlia Santo of Retire Limited, a Cayman Airways sponsored company. Junior Achievement, a youth inspiration program covering over 12,000 participants over 30 years, proudly developed and operated by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
I am worried about my employees' health insurance. Are there any companies out there that I can rely on for great coverage, affordable payments, and who will work to make the switch as easy as possible? Or am I asking for too much?
You sound like you need Fidelity Health. At Fidelity, they offer great coverage through a highly rated and trusted carrier, payments I can afford, and with no on-island deductible on all the plans they offer. Best of all, they offered my company 50% back on the first month's premium.
This is too important. Today's the day I am switching to Fidelity Health.
Make the easy switch to Fidelity today and get 50% cash back on your first month's premium until December 31st. Call 949-7822 to make your switch now.
How would you describe Siwa Sayin?
A language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Okay, I like that definition. Now let's get back to the show.
Siwa Sayin.
Afternoon, welcome back. Thank you for joining us in the studio with Ray Ebanks and myself. Dr. Steve McField and Dr. Frank McField joins us for our monthly installment for December.
I gotta say that I haven't heard Rebecca lately, and I don't. No, that wasn't a bright
That's
move.
because I haven't had you over to my house recently.
Oh, Rebecca.
I think, Frank, you probably was in New York or Germany at the time. In around the 60s, 70s.
No, I went to the States in, 64.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have we introduced everybody?
Well, I did at the beginning. I just did it then.
Yeah,
but
well,
Dr. Frank McField,
yeah.
Dr. Steve McField, Ray Ebanks,
Sorry, I was sleeping.
Susan.
I was sleeping. You know, my eyes be open, but I be sleeping.
Yeah. But Susan was too, because she's asking, did you introduce your guests?
Thank you. Thank
you. Dr. Frank, apologies, sir.
Yeah, no problem. I felt introduced anyway. I mean,
you feel like you're in family, huh?
Yeah.
It's almost like you're from Cayman.
Well,
yeah, it's almost like you
halfway so.
Yeah.
All right. Halfway so. Yeah.
Some sort of way.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like I said, Christmas was really a very special time of the year. Mm-hmm. And I mean, putting all jokes aside, it was the only time of the year that we really felt any kind of joy.
Wow.
So what Steve was describing in terms of having access to things was very important at Christmas time. Having access to an apple or a grape was the most fantastic thing in the world. I mean, sure, we had mangoes and all that sort of stuff, but just the smell of those apples and those grapes made shops special. So, Mr. Wilco shop in particular, the Marians, but Mr. Wilco, I used to always love the way his apples would smell.
Where did we get them from?
Well, we got them from Tampa. The shipping.
The grapes too? And all that?
Yeah.
It's the first time hearing about the grapes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, yeah. And sometimes they because of the weather, because we used to have a lot of weather during Christmas time. The nor'westers was one after the other. And so a lot of the times the boats would have to lay out there, and then by the time they did get there, the goods ashore, they would be spoiled. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, what was important about Christmas, was the fact that we had like a prolonged sort of expectation for some joy, and that was all postponed until Christmas came.
I mean, I don't know if it was like for you all, but our experience with Christmas, it took about 2 years to come around.
Yeah, it took a long time to me too. I remember one time singing, "But I know it's Christmas, but I want it to come again. But I know it's Christmas." And of course, Christmas meant that you had to do all the chores, because regardless of how poor you were, you did changes around the yard. You went and got some sand, put sand in the yard. Mm-hmm. I guess you guys in West Bay used to put the conch shells.
Yeah, with the conch bubbles.
The conch shells. East End conch bubbles.
No, we conch bubbles.
West Bay's conch bubbles.
West Bay's conch bubbles. East End is cocks and groupers.
No, but we used to call East
End also conch bubbles too. You need to extend your vocabulary. That's what I need.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, because I was kind of before you. So we kind of before you.
I
so
just come late. I just come so.
You just come lately. By that time, everything was getting mixed up in terms of the vernacular.
Yeah.
Because the vernacular, of course, was very important.
Well, this is I'm
like
researching.
Yeah, and come here.
This is you should hear what it is now.
Yes,
but you know. But this is me researching that. No, this is not our time. We were never conch bubbies. No. We just bears and
because it's true that the West Bayers had more conchs because you used to get it from the North Sound, that part of West Bay, whereas they used to have to go fishing on the South Side.
Where would you all get conch?
Well, we got conch from Run Point.
From Run Point, and we would get conch also from Red Bay.
From the
we would go to Red Bay, and sometimes up to what's this place up there up behind Borden Town as you go into North Side.
Behind Borden Town?
Yeah,
that you got conch?
That bay.
Oh, yeah. Frank Sound, eh?
Frank Sound.
Frank Sound.
But
Frank Sound.
Oh, Frank Sound.
Frank Sound.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Frank Sound is like getting up to breakers.
Yeah, getting up to breakers. Yeah, we go up there and get conchs too.
It's be a lot of conchs up there.
We probably should say that we're not from the same place here. We're bears and these.
No,
from Georgetown. So there's different, almost different countries.
Of course, that's how it was. It was almost different countries, different accent too. Different way of life.
Yeah. Something I wanted to ask, and it was a project I had started long ago, and then I sort of trailed off. It was to do with foods, right? West Bayers and fish was almost synonymous. You ate seafood.
Yes.
And I only asked like the friends and families that I knew so that I could. And it seemed, with the greatest respect, that within Georgetown, that depending on where you live was whether or not you ate fish or had access to fish. Is that true? So people who were closer to the coast, as opposed to who were in the interior?
Closer to the coast?
No,
not close to the coast.
No, that's what I'm asking.
Well, if people didn't eat fish, what would they eat? I mean, if they didn't eat fish, then they would have to eat meats, right? And who had real access to meat? So what you will see in terms of, and Steve might correct me here or perhaps explain it a little bit better, but the class configuration was very important.
Okay, so that's
who had access to land, then who had access to sea, because food becomes very important in terms of in an environment where it's not what you have in terms of capital, because there's very little capital, is what you have in terms of use of land and sea. So in our particular case, we our family had access to the land, and we had access to the sea.
And you're saying not everybody had access to the sea?
Well, not everybody have access to the sea.
Not everybody had a boat.
Not everybody had a boat. Nobody had the skills.
You had foot go on iron shore?
Well, if you went on the iron shore, you think that lines were like common, and that everybody had a line or something and a hook, it took quite a bit of skill to be able to feed yourself that way. So and then when you got fish, then you need to know how to preserve it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have it for very long. You got meat, you know how to preserve it. But the turtle, of course, was a very important product.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. What was your staple? Was it turtle or fish?
Turtle and fish.
Fish.
Yeah.
Fish.
Well, I ate fish probably just about every day. Eating meat were very, very seldom that we had meat. Or we ate fowl, the chickens, or we...
Fish was the more the thing. But was that respectful within Georgetown? Was fish, from your perspective, like I said, this is only a cursory review, in West Bay it seemed to have been more of a staple. You saying in Georgetown the same, or just depending on where you were in town?
Well, my memory is that fish was something that I remember that there were like 2 fishing families in the North Sound, or 3. Steve?
Yes, 2 or 3.
Well, because it was the Martins,
was
the Ramones,
the Ebankses, and Ramones, the Ebanks,
and
Martins.
Ourselves, our family.
This is within in Georgetown district.
Yeah, because we're talking about small settlements here. Yes. People believe that Cayman was this big place, but it was a very, very small village. We just had maybe at that particular time
8,000 people to hold 3 islands.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that Christmas time was beef time, beef and pork time.
Beef and pork.
So we didn't eat beef and pork much if ever during the year.
Yes.
It was something that was reserved for us to have.
That for December.
Or not for the poor people. If they killed beef during the year, we couldn't afford to buy it, and we couldn't afford to get it because I remember going out to the old market, and they say they're killing cow tonight. They're killing, and I would go out there with my pan to get meat, and I'd be out there from 4 o'clock in the morning until daylight, and the butcher would ignore me, and they would be butchering the cow and stringing it up with the string.
That was Lorraine
and his father and his uncle, Mr. Mellard and Mr.
Mellard Russell. Yeah, that's my
Mellard Russell and Mr. Bonner, and they would be saying, "Well, have you got out Dr. Roy's yet? And have you got out this one yet? Have you?" And they would have.
And this is Christmas, or did you say during the year?
This was during the year.
They had a list,
and they would have their little exercise book,
the allotment,
with how much did.
I did a little documentation of all of the from West Bay to East End.
Yeah,
and it's still basically the same.
Yes, and they would say to me, they would say, "But son, well, you here for some? You want to?" And they would say, "Son, all we gotta do." Or the shanks, or the cow head left. And I go home and my mother said, I don't want to go the damn cow head, or the old shank.
And the people that used to get the tripes, what you call tripe?
And then they would give us the tripe.
You know, you clean them.
So my mother and her sister
dry them.
So clean the tripes and dry them, and that's what we would have to eat during the year.
So that was the best part of the food.
Yeah,
the cow,
because
especially when you cook that with beans.
So is that what they told you?
And you put some basil in it, right? Beans with tripe, with basil in it. Ma used to cook that quite a lot. Yeah. I mean, she was an expert in preparing.
And our grandfather would cook, kill a cow or kill a pig, and what the family didn't eat for Christmas, they had a big barrel, and they would salt it, what they call corn it, put it in. We would have that for the rest of the year too, to eat.
There would tripe in there?
No, not tripe.
Look through the looking glass, and you see the lady who's controlling the.
She's doing some tweaking. Yeah. I hope that's something for you later, something maybe.
Pause quickly, take a break. Phone lines are open. Hopefully we'll join a couple of callers. Stay tuned.
You guys have that.
I didn't mean to hurt her. Work was tough. We're struggling financially. I had a few drinks to relax, but then the argument started. It was a mistake to hit her. Now I don't have a job. I don't have a wife. I can't afford to feed my family. This was a hard lesson to learn. Never forget that walking away from something unhealthy is brave. Stop to slap. Stop to cycle. Stop the violence.
The Stop the Slap campaign has been proudly sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Stop the slap. Stop the cycle. Stop the violence.
I need a bank that is convenient for me.
What do you mean?
I need a bank that has easy-to-find locations and plenty ATMs when I need cash on the go.
Oh, well, that's easy. You need to bank with Cayman National. They have 7 customer service centers and 23 ATM locations. The newest one is at the East End Post Office, and I hear there's more to come.
Well, sounds like I need to bank with Cayman National Bank, the convenient bank, because they seem to be everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. Cayman National is everywhere. Surely they are Cayman's convenient bank.
Cayman National Bank. We're here for you.
Appliance Doctors is Cayman's premier home and commercial appliance repair and service company, providing 24/7 emergency service. They guarantee their work and want you to be 100% satisfied. Be it your washer, dryer, oven, water heater, refrigerator, or dishwasher. Appliance Doctors, fully certified technicians, can handle all of your appliance repair needs. They carry a full line of repair parts. Appliance Doctors. Call them at 946-6695.
Oh, I would definitely recommend them.
And for all of your air conditioning needs, call Polar Bear at 949-2526. Polar Bear, founded in 1988. From Appliance Doctors and Polar Bear, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone.
This season, Vigoro is stocking something for everyone in our 2 garden centers. Christmas decorations, terrariums, succulents, ceramics, blooms, orchids, bromeliads, garden sculptures and accessories, mobiles and garden furniture, water fountains and wall art, and even fairies for the little ones. Make it a Vigoro Christmas with a gift that will be treasured forever. Vigoro on Agricola will be open on Sunday, December 23rd, 11 to 5. Both garden centers will be open on Christmas Eve till 6 p.m. Merry Christmas from Vigoro.
Make it Le Classique this holiday season and give the gift that will last forever. The gift of leather. With leather goods, accessories, and footwear that fuse classic timeless fashion with today's trends, Le Classique will add versatility and distinction to any wardrobe. Find the perfect gift for any man with the selection of leather belts, wallets, briefcases, and luggage to shoes for leisure, work, or special occasions up to size 13. Make it Le Classique this holiday season. For the ladies looking for style and quality, Le Classique carries handbags, luggage, shoes, and accessories for any occasion. Shop the new shoe, accessories, and leather collection for men and women at Le Classique this holiday season. Make it last. Make it Le Classique. This health flash is brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Over 65 million people around the world have moderate or severe COPD, a family of diseases that includes emphysema and chronic bronchitis. Cleveland Clinic, Florida offers a wide range of management and treatment options for COPD, including programs focused on education, medication, smoking cessation, and pulmonary rehabilitation. A team of experts is ready to review your symptoms and test results to develop a comprehensive treatment plan. For more information, visit clevelandclinicflorida.org.
Siwa Sayin is a special feature of Talk Today with contributions from the National Museum, a language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM. Siwa Sayin.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio. We have the good company of Dr. Frank McField and Dr. Steve McField joining us. And I think Susan says we have a caller in the wings.
So glad I got all the
let's
doctors
see.
in the house. Anything bad go wrong?
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome.
Yeah.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Peter Schmidt here.
Good afternoon, sir. Hey, Merry Christmas to you.
I'm enjoying the show. I wish everyone a Merry Christmas and all the best of the New Year. I just wanted to, it was kind of funny listening to you all talking about Galleon Beach, Dave Mitchell, of course, whom I worked for, and back in the at the beginning of the 70s. But really the point of calling was something Dr. Frank said when he said, well, you know, there wasn't much capital. It was more what people had in land and stuff like that. And you know how apropos that is, because we're getting right back to the same thing where pretty soon you can have a basket full of money, but it won't be enough to buy anything with it. And your wealth will be in land and skills. So even stories from 50 years ago have great relevance today, and I thank you for it.
Well, thank you for highlighting that, because that's Dr. Frank.
Yeah, but Peter picks up on things like that, you know, because he has a great intellect. And he haven't, you know, it's how people value things. Mm-hmm. What becomes valuable, and how people exchange the valuables that they have between them is how we normally look and define the societies. And Cayman is such an interesting society or settlement because we have in the geographical area that we call Grand Cayman, for instance, we have the West Bay settlement. And the West Bay settlement really, to me, is a very interesting settlement, you know, because it has a particular kind of racial composition that creates immediately a particular kind of democracy and a particular type of egalitarianism that is very unique, that influences the other parts of the Cayman Islands. So when I was a child, my father was able to have relationships with people in West Bay because of who he was. And who he was because of his particular kind of outlook on life. He was a very independent person who believed that he should make compromises only with those things that he believed in. And West Bayers respected that. So that was always a negotiating point that he had with West Bayers, and he had shown his commitment to his own values, and that was West Bayers would like you because of that. So West Bay in Christmas time was a special place because we know that they used to put the conch shells and they would sweep the yards, and the yards would look even prettier in Christmas time. So many of us wanted to go to West Bay to take a look at how West Bay looked. So we would go to West Bay to look how West Bay was dressed up, because West Bay got dressed up. Now, we were in the bush, that's sort of more or less. We were off Mary Street, inland. Our grandfather was on Mary Street, but we were down School Road, and down in that area it was bush during that particular period of time. And a lot of us would try to get somehow to the bay, to the sea, to watch the water, the sea, and sometimes we would have the rough seas, and sometimes the breeze would come all the way inland where we were, and that was the sweetest thing, to feel that Christmas breeze, or to feel that breeze that most of the people that were living close to the shores might feel even during the entire year. So we knew that beauty of the Cayman Islands during Christmas time. So Christmas was a very special time to us because we felt that island breeze and that island feeling that many of you would feel in West Bay, or grandmother and those people would feel in East End because they were near the sea, or certain people in Borden Town were near the sea. So little Georgetown, a bush boy like me, when we got near the sea, or when we got near Christmas time, it was almost like a spiritual experience.
Indeed. We do have a call. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Devil.
Mr.
Devil. I wish the listening public Merry Christmas, health and prosperous New Year.
Amen.
And you, Sterling, and Dr. Steve, Dr. Frank, and I believe Professor Wray is on it.
Yeah.
All right, this is I1, and I can remember a little bit about Christmas too. I can tell you a story you might have heard before that I got from Buddy Ebanks from Unpleasant. He went away. He died in top of it. He was going to 60 years now. He did come back home, but he had known everything that he had know all the news that came out of Ireland before we knew it. And he told me a story that I didn't realize why we didn't get no Santa Claus on Christmas night, Christmas Eve. But the people from Mount Pleasant knew why they never got none. So the Goldfield was late coming in, and John Hill, that's John Hill from up the hill.
Mm-hmm.
You all would Sterling, you know who he is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He shot off a shotgun midnight and told him Santa Claus or someone shot Santa Claus. So the people up there knew why they never got them, but the people both me didn't know why they didn't get no Santa Claus. Mm-hmm. And the Goldfield, sometimes you come in before time, before Christmas, and the apples and stuff get such a set those days that I remember Mama used to hide them and we set out the whole place, but we could not find them in that house. That was that put us in. And Christmas time, coming up to Christmas was a good time for the young boys and the young girls get together in the back stand.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Because we used to, through the year, we used to break up the yard a little bit, but Christmas, we used to back sand and rake off all the old sand and put the new ones in little piles. And Christmas Eve then, we used to spray that white sand all over the place. I would line it with conch shells. And I remember the serenading, and I remember a story that Double told me about Uncle Dennis, that's Uncle Jason Parson, them brother. He was do a lot of tricks on people too. They put something in the rum, Crotonile or something around and gave it to ducks and they mushing them.
What was that? Crotonile?
Something to make you pass then.
Pass, okay.
Okay, if you want, you know the word.
To evacuate. To evacuate is what I heard it's called.
Say, when we got them days, You'd go over West Bay and people would have cake and rum and stuff from. And see when they were going through Celtic Yard, that white sand there, that hit up.
Oh, no.
They could see that broad street going through that.
That was a martyrs.
What a pretty picture you're painting.
Yes.
Oh, my.
So Christmas time was a good time. Good time. We got together and guess what? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out now how I did it. But for my 19 years going to sea, I spent every Christmas home besides two. Don't ask me how I did it.
They did what? One size?
Spent every Christmas at home besides 2 Christmases.
Wow.
Always found a way to get home for Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas, man, important. Hey, thanks so much,
Thanks
Mr.
so
Ebanks.
much, Mr. Silva.
Before you go, can I ask what suit of clothes you have on now? Is it your first one or your second one? Which suit of clothes you have on now? Is it your first one or your second one? Steve was saying.
Steve tell you change them twice a day now, change them 3 times a day now.
Yeah, but that's for different reasons now, though. You're getting older.
All right, Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, don't go over no white sand.
Okay.
All the best.
You all have a good one.
All right, you too, Uncle I.
And when we come back, Ms. Susan Strange got the news, but those practical jokes, I've heard many stories about
practical. They're now called assaults, and they have laws.
It was
the coaching is now.
Yeah. All right. When we come back, may I ask you about this? I've heard stories. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
Let's read the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. Headline. These are the biggest stories right now.
A 26-year-old West Bay man and a 25-year-old Bordentown man have been formally charged with handling stolen goods in relation to a burglary which occurred on Thursday, December 13th. A number of items, including jewelry, were taken from an address on Patrick's Avenue in Georgetown. The man was remanded into custody and the woman was bailed at court yesterday. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. Flights at Gatwick have been suspended again due to a new suspected drone sighting. A spokeswoman for the airport said, "We are just hearing a report of another drone sighting that we are investigating. Aircrafts have been circling above the airport as they are currently unable to land. Details are still coming in on the suspected rogue drone." U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened a very long government shutdown if Democrats do not fund his long-promised border wall. In a series of tweets, Mr. Trump demanded $5.7 billion, which was passed by the House of Representatives, but is expected to fail in the Senate. If no deal is reached, parts of the U.S. government will begin to close at midnight on Friday. And Kathy Griffin has criticized the lack of women on Forbes magazine's latest list of the world's best paid comedians. The Emmy Award-winning comedian tweeted the top 10 of Forbes' list along with the words, "No woman." Jerry Seinfeld topped the rankings with estimated earnings of $57.5 million. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
This Christmas, Kirk Freeport is wishing everyone peace, love, joy, and $40,000 in prizes. Win one of the multiple $5,000 and $1,000 cash prizes just for shopping at your favorite Kirk Freeport store. Purchases of $100 before noon on Christmas Eve qualify for all remaining prize draws. There's even a Rolex watch prize draw on January 2nd, and loads of other great prizes. Peace, love, joy, and the island's biggest Christmas sweepstakes. Only from Kirk Freeport. Full details on kirkfreeport.com. Merry Christmas from Kirk Freeport.
It's more than what we do.
It's who we are. We were your official bank of the quincentennial celebrations in 2003. We were your Bank of the Year 4 times. We were voted as the inaugural top employer in 2010. We were the inaugural Business of the Year awardee in 2017. Who are we? We are Cayman National, your local bank, proudly serving you for over 40 years. It's because of you that our journey continues.
For years, we have been promised prosperity on the heels of rapid development.
However, last year, over 2,000 Caymanian families
required the services of the Needs Assessment Unit.
Now, we are faced with the largest capital project in our history.
At the risk of destroying what attracts people to our shores.
The government's Destination Performance Report states that annually
1.8 million cruise visitors contributed
$154 million in revenue,
whereas
450,000 stayover visitors contribute $497 million.
$497 million.
It is time for a national development plan.
It is time for a national development plan.
And better decision making.
That takes into account our human, financial, and ecological resources.
Where we will no longer be driven like a boat without a rudder.
We don't need handouts from cruise lines.
Get your answers.
Sign the petition. Sign the petition. Support the referendum.
Support the referendum.
Support the referendum.
And let's build our future together.
Together.
Going back to the brag again.
Look, I can't afford to miss this one. The Sport Bay Committee presents the second annual Sport Bay Christmas Homecoming, December 15th through the 25th.
It's a place called Christmas Island.
Featuring 3 days of traditional Cayman Brac Christmas festivities, including live music by district musicians, home decorating contest, children's party, homecoming party, carol service, seniors gift distribution, singspiration, old-time kitchen dance, and fireworks to close off the year. For more information on dates and locations, call 925-3250. The Sport Bay Christmas Homecoming, December 15th through the 25th. It's time to come on home to the Brac again.
Going back to the Brac again.
Babe, not tonight. I need to be rested for all-day meetings tomorrow.
What are you talking about? I was almost asleep.
You keep poking me, and I can't sleep.
That's the mattress spring I keep telling you about. Not me. We really need to get a new mattress.
Tossing and turning, back hurting, can't sleep? It might be time to turn in your old mattress and go to bed with a new one. Browse the huge mattress showroom at Brand Source Home Gallery and pick the perfect mattress today. With mattresses to suit every budget, Brand Source Home Gallery stocks a wide selection of sizes and styles like Pillow Top and Gel Memory Foam. So stop tossing and turning and sleep better tonight with a new mattress from Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
At KFC, we believe you don't have to share a last name to be a family. Whether it's an office party, holiday fete, or family gathering, enjoy KFC's fresh, hand-breaded finger-licking good chicken. The KFC Festive Feast includes 10 pieces of original recipe or spicy chicken, creamy mashed potatoes, tasty coleslaw, and warm biscuits. KFC's holiday catering menu includes buckets of hot wings, sweet chili wings, or chicken tenders. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
How would you describe Siwa saying?
A language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Okay, I like that definition. Now let's get back to the show.
Siwa saying?
It's a scale.
All right.
Districts.
Yeah. Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you so much as Susan puts us back into the studio. Dr. Frank and Dr. Steve McFeel joins us.
And you guys are cousins, right?
Yeah.
That's a rarity in Cayman, cousins.
Oh. I like how
telling a Terrell. Well, let me see where we go. Let me do
Why
this.
is a joke absurdity?
That's how it goes. That's what it does. It's the surprise.
Hey, Ray, we have a caller as well, Ray.
Oh.
So you want to go to the call?
For me or just for everybody?
I could be.
You want to go to the call?
Yeah, it could be for Ray.
Oh, Ricky, sorry. Yes, sorry. Yeah, he's on now. Yes, we have another cousin, and this is from Texas.
Okay.
And maybe Ricky can tell us how it is in Texas and what he pining for in Cayman in December.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Well, I'm pining for some cassava cake.
Oh my God.
But I remember pining when I was growing up. Of course, now we're talking like 60 years ago. when I was growing up, I pined for cool weather. If any kind of cool weather came, it was the biggest treat in the world because it could get real hot back then with no air conditioning.
Yeah, the monotonous side was for me.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, I just want to wish everybody Merry Christmas, by the way.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, somebody needs to eat a piece of cassava cake for me.
You know, yeah.
Well, I didn't. My favorite cake was either yam or corn cake.
Yeah. Corn cake was good.
Yam or corn cake.
Corn cake was good.
And then my mother and their family started making something called upside down pineapple cake. I can't remember when they started making that.
That must have been in the 50s.
That would have been upside down pineapple cake, and boy, that was something. But when they started making those,
that was introduced from some of those people like down north or on the waterfront.
On the waterfront, some down north, yes.
That seems to be an American thing.
That's what I'm thinking. Is it that made the pies and stuff? Is that the same woman? So did they use canned pineapple, or they had to make their?
They used canned pineapple, yes. And sir.
Ricky?
Are you still there,
Mr. Parsons?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you said that was 60 years ago, so you must have been here at the time when everybody was looking towards Northwest Point to see if the RDH came through, was coming in, and I remember RDH or the Antares, and we would go down by Marion's. They have a two-way radio, and to be listened to see because we were worried because sometimes the weather was bad. And we go down there and it was, hey, this is the RDH, this is the RDH calling Georgetown, over.
Yeah.
And then you will hear, this is Georgetown to the RDH, Georgetown to the RDH. What is your ETA? Your estimate time of arrival. He says our ETA at Northwest Point is 5:15, over. And we would sit down there and we would go home and tell our mother named exactly what the conversation was and what time the RDH was coming in. Because you went down there to see, because usually they save up money and they gave the cook or they gave someone who was on the RDH or the Antares or some of them to buy something from them to bring home. I remember I would save up. I would give Glenn Evans' father, who was on the RDH, Rudy Evans' father, to buy my comics for me. And see? And when the RDH come in, you went down there quick and I would say, son, I'm busy right now because they're trying to get the freight off. But I want my comics. I want my comics, You're talking about like 4 comics for $1. The comics are like 25 cents, sometimes 15, some was 15 cents. And it was something how you juggle things to be able to survive and to get things, and everybody knew each other. Everybody knew somebody on the ship.
Well, it made things more special. Yes. It made the little things more special because now we take everything for granted. You have everything you want. You have things you don't even need.
Yes.
But back then, if you got something at all from off island, it was extremely special. It was a treat.
Yes.
That's like December when apples would start coming in and the stores would smell like apples. To this day, if I walk to the supermarket and I smell an apple,
you remember
it
Christmas.
takes me right back to December and Christmas.
Yes,
especially in the Marion store.
Yes.
The Marions would have lots of them, and you walk in there and you feel like you're in a whole different environment.
I share that memory and feeling as well.
Yeah.
Do you remember to going in Marion's and they used to bring a lot of extra things, and they used to bring this big old hunk of cheese from and they used to have holes in it. Holes in it, and the only time it didn't actually melt and they had to scrape it off the counter was
that was Miss Armin's job. Miss Armin had the big old wheel of cheese, and she could just slice off a little piece, and it'd be so hot that cheese would be just the perfect room temperature. And then, of course, you had to slap it on a good puller, and you had it.
A good puller.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they were. I mean, it was sweet. It was sweet.
And you do you remember when we started getting they drink some from Tampa and stuff instead of from Jamaica? Jamaica, we used to get the things like soda water, Fanta soda, but then we started getting knee-high. We started getting knee-high drink, orange and strawberry knee-high, boy, and that was the big drink, boy. That was the best drink in the world. They took out those knee-high drinks and the big old Coca-Cola, not the small bottle, the big bottle of Coke.
Yeah.
You remember those?
Well, yeah, I remember more than you because I don't know if you ever remember, because I'm almost 70 years old now.
Yes.
We had an ice cream parlor.
He's almost 70.
And,
I'm 70.
Yeah.
Already.
Where was your ice cream parlor?
So you're not telling me anything I don't know.
So you had an ice cream parlor, you said?
Yeah, I didn't, but I mean, there was one in Georgetown.
Oh, yes.
And it's hard to say where it was now because I can't tell you where anything is in Georgetown anymore. I'm completely lost.
It was down Cardinal Avenue. It would belong to the Pantons.
That's correct.
That's
correct.
On his father, and you could at the ice cream parlor you could get we would buy a extra malted milk for 6 pence.
Yeah, and I have not had a malt that good ever since.
Yes.
I swear.
Yes.
Tell me, you would have
had. Of course, then you had to have a patty to go with it.
Yeah, patty to go with it. Yes.
You all had root beer float. Root beer floats.
Yes.
It by itself.
Just checking.
Yeah. and it would cost you. It would as a young person, it would cost you 2 shillings for the weekend. 1 shilling to go to the theater. 1 shilling to go to the theater. A 6 pence from malted milk, a patty, or a sandwich from Miss Dame, Burke the Bush wife.
Yeah.
I could stretch mine more than that because in West Bay we had Miss Elizabeth. That if you went upstairs and looked down in the thing and begged her for a free ticket for the next show, she would give it to you. She had a few free tickets. You had to know how to get one, and of course, I knew how to get one, so I always. Before I left, I went to see Miss Elizabeth, and so I could stretch my money a lot further than you could.
Yes. Yes. Well, you talk about you live in Texas.
Yeah, I live in Texas.
Well, I had
near Austin.
I had 2 friends. I used to play cricket a lot.
He said he had.
I had 2 friends. Their name was Lloyd and Floyd. And Iwan told me they went off to Texas, and I haven't seen them since the time they left and went off to Texas. Did you happen to know them?
Well, last
name. If I see them, I'll let you know.
Good one, Ricky. Good one. What's the last name, though?
I can't remember their last name.
Remember the last?
Yeah.
You come in like, what's your name? Going to New York.
Yeah.
Oh,
If they say me Lloyd out there.
Yes, sir.
Are they brothers or what?
I think they were brothers or cousins.
Yeah.
Cousins or
So,
brothers?
Mr. Ricky?
Iwan was telling me that they went to Texas and they were Collie Parsons. They would have been the same age of Collie Parsons and all of those guys that Collie Parsons got killed.
Believe you asked him. Took a chance. Hey, you take a chance, you might be. Oh yeah, Lloyd and Floyd. But I used to call him Floyd and Lloyd. But.
Yeah. You see, I got right back. I went right back into that time when that's not supposed to you know. Hey, you take a chance.
It might work. He might be like,
you know what's his name?
He might see him.
Well, I tell you, I got to tell you before you go though. If I told the story about me and Christmas, my real bad Christmas is that we had a place called Top Star, right? Which was a place that you could go and dance and different things like that. We got some of the old wood from Galleon Beach when they were breaking it down, and we pulled a lot of nails over a lot of time out of the wood and built this place, and we called it Top Star. From the can, they called Top Star. So me and my brother George, we worked kind of around the place, and we decided at one particular point we're going to take a 6 pence or a shilling and save it and put it in there and And then we must have been taking shillings and sixpences and burying them for a while. So when Christmas came, we had all this money. So we didn't realize how it would accumulate, but it accumulated. So we went out and we got David Smith. We used to call him Smuggler, Captain Alvin Smith, grandson, David.
Yes.
And he got us a little wine. So we got our first wine and we brought some presents and we went home and then we were so happy to give our parents all of these presents and everything. But it didn't dawn on us that they would say, "Where'd you get that money from?"
What age that was?
That was like 14.
Yes.
So at that particular point, we got caught and we got trashed for it. So it wasn't a good Christmas after all.
No.
But it was always special.
Well, I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for calling in, Ricky.
Same
All right, Merry Christmas to you, man.
Merry Christmas to all of you.
But that's something that you shared. And,
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, man. Enjoy it, and hopefully
Yes.
a little cool weather for you.
Thank you,
man.
and if you have any leftover cassava cake,
We'll send it by the Antares.
I may come with a Rembro.
Yes.
Yes. All right. As you get a chance to pick up the other callers as well, we'll look at it.
We'll do another topic now?
If you want, or we can see.
Okay, I don't think we did this right. The thatch rope. Public notice that in 4th of December 1969, there was a public notice from Jamaica saying the council. Hold on, Mike.
All right.
Hold on.
Two calls. So this was in the Caymanian.
Hold on.
Weekly.
This is the Jamaica Co-op Union. Said the union has a large stock of Cayman thatch rope on hand, and they will not be requiring any more new rope at this time, and actually be some time before the union will need to have their stock replenished. So it's possible that they will not be requiring any more thatch rope, and the Cayman should plan to their production only to meet the local supply. So that basically was when
the end of the thatch rope industry.
So 1969, December 4th. And that, what we were talking about, that was a little notice, but that was a crushing blow, I imagine, to a whole bunch of people.
Yes.
Yeah, especially to Warren Conley.
Yes, Warren Conley, yes.
Yeah, because Warren Conley used to bring down the thatch rope from his stand on his truck.
Yes.
That was his business partly.
So if you when you see that iconic picture, the guy loading the truck. Yeah, the truck
That's
on the
Warren
dock.
Conley truck.
And unloading the Caymania too. Unloading the thatch rope on the dock.
The one throwing it,
a lot of that.
Yeah. So that little notice, that little 2-paragraph notice that caused a lot.
And
3 lines.
And not only that, it caused a lot of people lost a lot of revenue. The merchants.
That's what I'm saying.
Because the merchants would give you food, would give you
goods,
and they take the thatch rope and sell it in Jamaica at a profit.
So that's and we were looking for that. We wondered when it was. So December of '69, the 4th of December. Yeah. Let's see what else. We need to.
We got 2 callers, Ray. You want to pick those callers up?
Sure.
Yeah. All right, let's go to our phones. Dr. Steve McField, Dr. Frank McField joins us. Good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
We now get out of 69.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Georgette Ebanks.
Good afternoon, Miss Georgia.
Good to hear you, ma'am.
Good afternoon to all you gentlemen on the show.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
And I want to tell you something that you all are much too young to know about. Mr. Angela Borden,
yes,
lives over north, close to where Mr. Norberg Thompson's family lives.
Yes,
in a big upstairs house.
Yes, ma'am.
He was married to an American woman, and the first time Caymanians, except those who maybe live in the U.S., ever tasted all those lovely pies and cakes, Mr. Ainsley's wife was an American woman, and she used to make them, and they were delicious.
The pies, coconut and lemon.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
I was
ma'am.
agreeing with you. Coconut and lemon pies. I remember it. Yeah.
It was. I don't remember about the pies, but all the sweets that she cooked were most delicious. So may all of you have a peaceful, happy, and blessed Christmas, and keep safe.
Amen.
That's
You too,
a
ma'am.
very important word. Keep safe. God bless you
Thank
all.
you,
and
Miss Georgette.
thanks for giving me time.
My mouth is frothing right now.
Thank you, Mom. God bless you, Georgette. And we did feature on one of the CY sayings.
We had a show, we had two of them, Sweet Kind.
And
came up with a word.
Yeah, she came up with it. We featured her on it.
Yeah, she came up. Her name came up, and then also she came up in the naval base because Ainsley was the supplier for the naval base.
That's right, Miss Ainsley, and he also had one of the only gas stations in the island.
Gas station.
Yeah, is he the one with the glasses? He had skinny.
He was a skinny man.
Skinny man, tall, skinny
round
man.
glasses.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Would he have been to Blue Horizons also? Because I've got a photo that looks like it might be him.
I don't know, but he had a little gas station right there as you're going into the road. To go where
you're not as old as me. That's why. So
no, he didn't go too many places.
No, he didn't go too many places. No.
Oh, okay. So it mightn't have been him.
All right, gents, let's go to our phone. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. This is Clive Christian.
Good afternoon, Mr.
Clive. You're bringing back a good memories to me here.
Clive.
But when you're talking about the food, I don't you call lobster seafood because we had a lot of lobsters.
Oh, yeah.
I remember one time Vincent and friend and I went out. We were going to make some extra money. We got 100 lobsters. Right down 7 Mile Beach. Only took us not in 2 hours. And we had a little bicycle started to sell us 5 shillings. A whole lot of 50 cents. And we couldn't sell them. We kept dropping our prices until we started giving them away.
Yeah, I remember those times. Yeah,
we go to some houses. Sunday, I
did the big ones too, no?
Big ones.
Yeah.
Big ones.
When you should have take a rod and push that small one, get the big one.
Yeah.
People giving us lobsters.
And how you getting them? Can I ask how you getting them?
Peg
them. How you catching them? You just pegging them?
Yes, pegging. Little bamboo slings thing we had there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Right behind Treasure Island, the little rock behind there. We live somewhere from shore, little distance, and say well, the gang of us boys, they all had a little canoes or skiffs. We made our own little skiffs, 14, 16-foot skiffs. And we'll start off from now Whitehall Bay down at Boxoro and go down the beach and playing pirates and all that. Up there where the cruise ships are anchoring. And when you hear someone say tie down, anything that could sink, you wrap up the whole shirt or something, tie it on. Because the other ones are coming after you with paddle and myrtle and they're going to sink you. And if you couldn't free out your boat and get in and continue on, you'll get drowned. But no one got hurt. Then we go down to 7 Mile Beach down there, fishing and getting lobsters constantly on the way. And then you dug a big hole in the sand and landed with plantain leaf and put your fish and cover them up with the plantain leaf.
Hide them.
Then you made your fire on top of that.
Oh, cook them.
And a sauerkraut sticks and with one rod. And you put your paint can across the fire there with your conchs and your fish and the lobsters. Then we find somebody, we could find some sweet potatoes or some or breadfruit. And then we went back up swimming and then we came shore and we had a big old feast. I mean, we didn't know we were poor.
Yeah.
And
you didn't know you were wealthy, you mean?
Yeah. But it's hard to afford those days. Nobody had much money around there.
Yeah, but that don't mean you wasn't wealthy.
No, but there was no consciousness of poverty. We weren't conscious. Not
Yeah.
Hey, we'd love to have it now.
Yeah.
My mother used to bake a lot. I mean, like, what I love to ripe and green breadfruit cake.
Oh,
she
yeah?
used to make a lot of cakes. Huh?
Green breadfruit. Yeah.
Ripe and green breadfruit.
Yeah. Frank
And make cake.
Frank doesn't know what that is. We're educating him today.
Yeah, about the green breadfruit one.
Yeah, and the green pawpaw.
Yeah,
The
cake.
green pawpaw make jam.
Cake. Yeah, pawpaw cake.
A lot of these things, I mean, we still have people just don't do them anymore. I don't know why.
The stew. Actually, we're hoping we're changing that. After we did the bread kind show, the sweet kind show, a lot of people, had done something like what you were saying, the green breadfruit, and she didn't have enough of one thing to make one cake, a type of cake, so she combined them all. So she came up with a cake. I don't know if she can repeat it, but stuff like that. But no, what you're saying is true. Yeah.
Yeah, it was more difficult those days, but now they got blenders and choppers and all that. You can do it a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I know, as far as the gangs concerned, between the two districts, the Georgetowners, they were all the bad boys. Until they came up, brought down one night in their truckload, they came brought down for having a dance at brought down the town hall. Well, they brought down, said, we can't fight you. They left all the hall. But when the Georgetown go inside and start dancing, they put black pepper on the floor. So when they stopped on that wood floor and that black pepper, they were not too long up inside that dance. And when they came out to the truck, they had that full of cabbage. And when they tried to get back to Georgetown, they were on the bush pelting them with ripe breadfruits. And a lot of mosquitoes. And you got a cabbage, ripe breadfruit, and a whole pile of mosquitoes walking Georgetown.
Arsenal. That's
what
an
a
arsenal.
thing. What a thing.
Arsenal.
They didn't bother about that much anymore.
Well, that's something, because you remind me of a garden party evening. I went out one time to Borden Town, and in those days you had to wear a suit to go to dances. You couldn't go to dance in no construction shoes like today and pants down. You had to wear a suit and a felt hat. And the patron to this dance this evening was Har McCoy, Black Phillip Har McCoy, and they had Pat Alonso.
Hold on, isn't Black Phillip from West Bay?
Black Phillip, they call him because he was so conservative, just like the Queen's husband.
Oh.
That's why we call him Black Phillip. Black Phillip.
Okay, gotcha.
So Pat Alonso and I just come home from Watland and all him had just come home from Venezuela, and they came to the meeting, to the dance. They didn't have it. Pat Alonso didn't have a suit, so they told him he couldn't come in. So when he said you have to have a suit, so he went to somebody's house in Borden Town and borrowed a jacket and tie and came back. And so he came back and they let him in, allowed him to come into the dance. Like I said, he had just come from Venezuela and they had all this new dance. The only place that we had heard that kind of new music was at Moringa Town. And Pat went into Dance Boy, and old James Thomas was playing his clarinet, and Pat start dancing the merengue. They stop the dance and say, "You're dancing, daddy." No dada dancing in here tonight. And he said, "Well, this is the latest dance in Venezuela." And the dance started again, and he started dancing the same thing. They took him outside, and a guy named Mr. Stewart from Borden Town, he used to carry a cow cart, and he used to have the end of it split in 3 little tips. And he hit Pat Alonso that night, swiped him 2 times with that cow cart, and he peed himself right in the town hall door with that cow cart that night. And they threw him out the dance. So in Christmas time, every man who was at dancing age had their full suit, going to dances. And then I wondered, after all these years, there was no air conditioning. There was no, how could you have dance all night with a full suit on without any air conditioning, without any fan? Because the only thing with the dance was gas lantern. They would pump it up, put in the tied up in the ceiling, and that was the light. That was what it was. But you had to have on your suit. Did you have that any experience with the dancing?
Solana is gone.
None of the young people, almost every birthday somebody had a little party in their house.
Yes.
But I remember my birthday was in August, and most times I could not have any party because there was too many mosquitoes.
But hold on, your birthday was in August. Did it change?
That's what I was thinking. I can't remember now.
I should. Sorry, Mr. Gladys.
That's a good choice.
As far as you didn't remember.
No,
I didn't say anything. I was actually.
I could resist now. Okay, sir. Okay. No, but the mosquitoes. So you postponed.
Impulse control. Susan, and tell us, folks.
Mr. Clive.
Susan, and tell us, folks.
Merry Christmas to you, sir. And let's pause.
Merry Christmas and happy birthday on February when it comes.
Yeah. When you come back, I'll tell you some more. Stay tuned.
On Sunday at 3 p.m., you can hear a repeat broadcast of CI Retro's Talk Today special presentation, Cayman Islands Christmas Remembered, when we take a look back at Cayman Islands Christmas celebrations and traditions through the years, going back some 150 years to present day. This special CI Retro Talk Today presentation is being brought to you by Four Winds Esso, Cayman Enterprise City, pioneering a new type of special economic zones in the Cayman Islands, focused on technology and innovation. FSH Designs. Let your imagination grow with FSH Designs Limited. Visit fshdesigns.com today. Eats Cafe, Legends, and Yoshi Sushi, located in the Fall Center on the West Bay Road, across from the Westin. And by Puritan Cleaners, celebrating 60 years of excellent service to the Cayman Islands community. And to you from all of our fine sponsors, all the best for the Christmas season and into the new year. Remember, Sunday coming at 3 p.m. on Radio Cayman, CI Retro Talk Today's special Christmas presentation, Cayman Islands Christmas Remembered, looking back at Christmas over the last 150 years on Radio Cayman.
I need a bank that is convenient for me.
What do you mean?
I need a bank that has easy-to-find locations and plenty ATMs when I need cash on the go.
Oh, well, that's easy. You need to bank with Cayman National. They have 7 customer service centers and 23 ATM locations. The newest one is at the East End Post Office, and I hear there's more to come.
Well, sounds like I need to bank with Cayman National Bank, the convenient bank, because they seem to be everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. Cayman National is everywhere. Surely they are Cayman's convenient bank.
Cayman National Bank. We're here for you.
South Coast Bar and Grill up in Breakers, man, that is the place. For traditional Cayman cuisine, oh, you will love the taste. At South Coast Bar and Grill, we got conch and lobster and turtle stew. And every Sunday, come out with your family for the barbecue.
South Coast Bar and Grill by the seaside, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily, lunch and dinner. Call us at 947-2517.
For Cayman and cuisine, the talk today is South Coast Bar and Grill.
Hello, I'm Arthur Ebanks.
And I'm Angela Ebanks, owners of Savannah Pharmacy.
On behalf of the entire Savannah Pharmacy family, we would like to wish all of our Cayman families a very Merry Christmas and safe and prosperous New Year.
Remember, we're always just around the corner in Countryside Shopping Village with everything your family needs this holiday season. We look forward to continuing to serve you and your loved ones throughout 2019.
Stay connected and share your favorite holiday moments with Flow. Pick up the Alcatel A1 from $70 or the Samsung J2 Pro, packed with sweet features from $130. Every week you can win cash and prizes in our Cash Cube when you top up. Also check out our weekly top-up specials. Visit Flow's Facebook and Instagram pages to follow the deals. Plus, top up $25 or more for plenty chances to win great Flow holiday prizes. So make it Flow for everything mobile this Christmas. Visit discoverflow.ky for more. Terms and conditions apply.
Service, especially for you, especially for you.
Four Winds Esso in West Bay, serving the West Bay community since 1969. That's over 6 decades of friendly, fast, super, and courteous service. Be it for fuel for your automobile or equipment needs, or for that quick pickup of those last-minute items for your favorite meal. It's there for you at the Four Winds Esso Tiger Market. Taste enhancers, a grand variety of snacks and drinks, or that early morning sprucer upper, coffee. They've also got a grand selection of sweets and ice cream. headache and pain relievers, paper and picnic essentials. It's all there for you at Four Winds Esso in West Bay. Your friendly, fast, super courteous service center. Corner of West Bay Road and Church Street in West Bay. Four Winds Esso, 949-3467.
Especially for you.
And from all the folks at Four Winds Esso, Greg and all the staff, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all.
How would you describe Siwa saying?
A language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Okay, I like that definition. Now let's get back to the show.
Siwa saying?
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, we are having fun, but it's only because Ray does all the heavy lifting, all the work, so we can enjoy the amount of his labor. Ray, thank you very much, man.
Alrighty, so can we stay? Apparently we're staying with 1960s. We didn't get to the other centuries yet.
Well, we can. I mean,
no,
decade.
We're sorry. We
can make it, man.
Centuries,
Doctor. I know. So our guests, who just joined us, Dr. Steve McField and Dr. Frank McField.
The young ones.
Yes, and it's what, December. All right. So Ray, where are we now?
I was just going through the Caymania Weekly, December 4th again, 69. I got an ad here from the Lighthouse Club, and every Wednesday, this is Christmas dances now, every Wednesday came on most popular band, Humble and the Meek.
Yeah, Humble and the Meek, yeah.
Now, this
yes.
Yes. Who are they? They're not West Bears, they can't be West Bears, Humble and the Meek.
See if you do them. I was
and the Meek was Edward Solomon. Edward Solomon, who else was with Edward Solomon?
Was Bunny there? With
Bunny and your cousin Tabio.
Now help me out with this one. Also, now every Saturday night, dance to the swinging sound of the Speed Waves. Who they is?
I didn't know the Speed Waves.
I wasn't here, so.
So the Speedways, anybody can help us out with that. Who the Speedways, if they were here a while or not. But Speedwaves, the name of the band, and they played at Lighthouse Club in 69.
Yeah. But where you recognize too, may come back to it, and the social part, but the politics too. The U.S. Consul's visit in December, right? They'll notice.
Who that one is?
Right. This is December the 4th, right?
Read it, right?
You sure I can see it?
You're part of that. Here you go.
How strong yours are?
They're super strong. They're like them peppermints.
Whoa.
Them peppermints extra strong.
Dr. Frank, I can see tomorrow.
Boy, your eyes look pretty in it. Boy, my eyes look.
Okay.
You should be able to see the future.
I know who's going to win the next election.
That far?
You know who win the next election.
So is it the U.S. Council going to visit?
I know who's not going to win.
Oh. Gee.
Give it easy.
All right. No, I was just thinking that, even at Christmas time,
the light bulb too much long.
Part of the process, of the commerce as well, where you're talking earlier about getting your papers, and then so the U.S. Consul, has a regular visit. This was coming from the 8th to the 12th of December. People getting prepared for the new year.
That's right.
As shippers and the like. And
we did this already. One of the things that I was checking on is that this whole idea of Santa Claus and
we haven't done wrapping yet.
And bringing gifts and different things for the children, and the children getting involved with this expectation that we have all year round, because we don't get anything really because our parents don't have anything to give us, but we know that they're going to do whatever they have to do to provide gifts for us for Christmas. And this whole telling us that Santa Claus is bringing these gifts. And I was just thinking recently, why do we tell children that Santa Claus is bringing the gift?
What's your best way? Santa Claus?
It's Santa Claus?
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus.
That's what,
yeah, Santa. Because you would think that in the Christian community that people would sort of figure out that
he wasn't such a good Santa Claus. Didn't start off being such a great person, I don't think, isn't it? He was a kind of a dark. He would have one that stole children and all that.
Santa Claus?
Yeah.
Klaus?
Maybe. Maybe it was the Claw one from West Bay.
Klaus, Klaus. Klaus. That's where we get it. It's Norwegian or German.
Like Tannenbaum.
Yeah,
and all that,
Tannenbaum. Oh, Tannenbaum.
Okay, sorry. Didn't mean to say that. We're going to commercials.
But that's a pagan part of the tradition. It's a pagan tradition. But nobody tries to say that what we should be trying to tell the children is that God gave us His Son Christ, and that is the greatest gift of all, because that's the gift of grace. So it's Christmas is a very confusing time. It's a very confusing time for people, because that's one reason why during Christmas time many people, more people commit suicide than in other places than any other time. Mm-hmm. Christmas can turn out to be really, really very tragic time, because people have the expectation that somehow that Christmas must be different, and the only way that we can make Christmas different is by giving people things, and that's the wrong idea. So just by showing people love.
So just take things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that kind of song, right? If I can only make it through December. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Come into no, I won't try to sing it. Come on, Reno. But you know the song, the country song. No. If I make it through December.
Hello.
If you make it through that, you're cool.
More Haggard. Right.
Don't I tell you that when you go to hospital and they ask you if you have any allergies, what I normally say is country music. So I'm trying to start that thing. Anybody?
The pressure. Country
depressing. It's too depressing.
But that's the thing with December. I mean, Dr. Frank referenced there's a seasonal thing. There's something called a seasonal disorder where different seasons cause different reactions. But expectation.
No, because we get it wrong. Yeah. Because we want to try to do with Christmas what it was not intended to be, because it's we're saying that Jesus Christ's birth was during Christmas, which in fact we know that was when it was taken by the church to be the church at that particular time, the established church at that particular time. But it was to take place at the same time as pagans' celebration. And what has won out really is the pagan part of Christmas rather than the Christ part of Christmas.
But if I may ask, as we look at December in particular and the Christmas sort of celebration, it would have seemed that, for me, two things evident. One, people generally tried to show some semblance of love, respect, kindness. I mean, put aside it, generally speaking. And we highlighted some of these things.
You've been to my dinner, family dinner.
Yeah. We highlighted some of the incidents that occurred, and I think they were in response. People heard the stabbing, they may take the context, but it was in response to an unfamiliar behavior, a very condescending tone. And the second thing I found is that even though commerce probably picked up, because people had allotments, businesses. We've heard an extract from one of the archives that indicated that if the people on Christmas Eve, the workers left the shop 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Eve. So commerce extended. But even with that trade on that day, in the ensuing period for about 2 weeks, there was a bit of festivities. People weren't working as much as they are now. Is that a fair?
The focus was on giving, and Steve was telling you about the march was what that Steve. You were saying people went out and a lot. How many people? Like 200?
200 bands times.
And people gave them,
Gave them
things so that they had so much to share up. At the end, that
he did the marches thing off air, don't you?
But the marches, I mean, sure, they collected and they distributed, right?
They collected something and they had wheelbarrow to take all the stuff.
Tell the public what marches is, because I don't think we started that. What conversation was off air? What the marchers were?
Well, the people
during December,
on the 24th of December, on Christmas Eve, after the shops closed, the bars would stay open till late 2 until 12 o'clock. And of course, there was only 2 bars in Georgetown at the time, when I was growing up and stuff. In those days, Alvis Smith Bar, or the Northern Bar and the Southern Bar, and all the men would be there. All the men who were over 16 years old would be there, mostly. And they would wait until the stops are closed, and they would gather to march. Now, before the marching began, the men would have a meeting, and they would select who would be the leader of the march, the patron of the march.
That's what we call him?
Yes. And the night, and the time that I was able to go out, my uncle, Frank's father, Uncle Bulla, was the head of the march. That's a very responsible position. Because you know how all of those men that you have to keep in control, the drinking, they can't be going to Dr. Roy's house and Marin's house, who's giving them gifts and be unruly and stuff and things like that and whatnot and misbehave. Those men have their daughters out on the porch and their wives out on the porch listening to the music, and they usually requesting music from the men. Play this song for them, and play this song and play this song for them. And the band would play the song, and the men then would, hip hip hooray! Give 3 chairs for Mr. Marin! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! And then Marin would give them their gift, and they would go to the next house and the next house and the next house and the next house. Now the one who was the patron of who had the march, the head of the march, he had the cow card because they have to have this Christian towel, used to call it.
Call it what?
Because the Christian towel.
That's what they call it.
That's what Arthur Martin called it.
Christian towel.
He said he's called a Christian towel.
You get hit by that?
To beat all sinners' backside. That's what he called it. And Bulla had that. He had that, and that was shaking in the air.
Like Moses'
like
rod.
Like Moses' rod. And all the men saw that, and they would fall into line. And they would go to every house. This morning, my mother said, you can go with the men tonight because you're getting big now.
Well, hold on now. What year that was?
Oh.
Should we get the abacus and the
sundial back? 1950.
Okay.
And then I had a friend named Morris General. We were friends. And we went. We lost. The first night, they lost us. I'll never forget. They were going to South Sound area. And we got to a Dr. Roy house, and Miss Ella's the one who took a photographer. And we sat by the side of the road waiting for them to finish at Dr. Roy's house. And we fell asleep. And they passed us.
Really? Dr. Roy's house is now Harbour.
The market.
Market and Harbour Place, right?
Yeah, Harbour Place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we couldn't find them. And then we listened because you're talking about Georgetown's dark. The lights are all gone in Georgetown. Marin's and them closed down the generators. Dr. Roy's closed down the generators.
This is after midnight.
It's after midnight and it's dark. Yeah. And then we heard the sound. And we heard the down north direction. And we followed the darkness and go down there. And we found them down by Mr. Benny Borden's house. And we catch up with them again.
Tell us, give us a reference of what Benny, where is that
Mr.
now?
Benny Borden's house is now where they call it Fish Shop. Fish Restaurant. Right across from
Fish
Cayman Diagnostic Clinic. Yeah. Cayman Diagnostic Center.
But they're not that far.
Yeah, but that was far in those days.
In the dark.
In the dark. 2 young boys.
Yeah, in the dark.
So that morning now, we went with them with the march all down through North, all down through Rockhole, all down through Copper Boilers, and coming down now through where now they call McVee's Lane, what's called McVee's Lane, now coming out through there now. And they're going to go to Scranton now, where they're going to share up all their booty. They're going to share up all their stuff and have a dance there now for the Christmas day. They're going to play music. That time, they got the band playing James Thomas.
And Borley
with the drums. Simboko and Mortorgon. Shifley and on guitar. And Burr on guitar. And Elon Pars guitar. And all of them. And James Thomas is so drunk now, 2 men hold him up, but he's still playing the Mortog. He's still playing the clarinet. And they told me that we heard through the grapevine that something was going to happen that Sunday, that Christmas morning. So we went to see where it's going to happen. Then we heard it's a feud between Leon Bird and Harold Miles.
All right, Dr. Steve, if you would. Just hold that feud now we're here. So Susan says cliffhanger. Yeah. Come on, get the cliffhanger music, Susan. We got to pause. I apologize, but I'm thankful. All the same.
You're messing with his groove, you know.
Yeah. Yes. Dr. Steve got his groove back, you know. All right. We'll come back to hear about it. Stay tuned.
Hey, did you hear about Pinna's groundbreaking new lower prices? Over 350 of some of our top-selling brands are now reduced in price by up to 45%. Yes, 45%. For the best prices, brands and service, Penha is the place to be for your holiday shopping. Visit Penha, number 40, Royal Plaza on Cardinal Avenue, Georgetown. Merry Christmas from Penha.
This Health Flash is brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Over 65 million people around the world have moderate or severe COPD, a family of diseases that includes emphysema and chronic bronchitis. Cleveland Clinic, Florida offers a wide range of management and treatment options for COPD, including programs focused on education, medication, smoking cessation, and pulmonary rehabilitation. A team of experts is ready to review your symptoms and test results to develop a comprehensive treatment plan. For more information, visit clevelandclinicflorida.org.
Retain your peace of mind by installing a reliable generator, knowing that your family is safe and secure during a power outage. At Corporate Electric, we care about the well-being of our customers and their loved ones. We are the official distributor of Kohler SDMO generators in the Cayman Islands and can conduct a free assessment of your house to suggest the perfect fit. Call us at 946-2277. Visit our website or the Facebook page for more details.
South Coast Bar and Grill up in Breakers, man, that is the place for traditional Cayman cuisine. Oh, you will love the taste. At South Coast Bar and Grill, we got conch and lobster and turtle stew. And every Sunday, come out with your family for the barbecue.
South Coast Bar and Grill by the seaside, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily, lunch and dinner. Call us at 947-2517.
For Cayman and cuisine, the talk today is South Coast Bar and Grill.
Is this thing working? Give me some sound over here.
Every Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. Radio Cayman Super Jam Show, the #1 drive time entertainment show for your radio, featuring Will Sinatra.
Now, sound is everything.
Enjoy a mix of pop, hip-hop, reggae, and calypso, and an entertainment trivia section. The Super Jam Show is fueled by the proud sponsorship of the Cayman Islands Football Association. SIFA, building a better future for Cayman football.
On Sunday at 3 p.m., you can hear a repeat broadcast of CI Retro's Talk Today special presentation, Cayman Islands Christmas Remembered, when we take a look back at Cayman Islands Christmas celebrations and traditions through the years, going back some 150 years to present day. This special CI Retro Talk Today presentation is being brought to you by Four Winds Esso, Cayman Enterprise City, pioneering a new type of special economic zones in the Cayman Islands, focused on technology and innovation. FSH Designs. Let your imagination grow with FSH Designs Limited. Visit fshdesigns.com today. Eats Cafe, Legends, and Yoshi Sushi, located in the Fall Center on the West Bay Road, across from the Westin. And by Puritan Cleaners, celebrating 60 years of excellent service to the Cayman Islands community. And to you from all of our fine sponsors, all the best for the Christmas season and into the new year. Remember, Sunday coming at 3 p.m. on Radio Cayman, CI Retro, Talk Today's special Christmas presentation, Cayman Islands Christmas Remembered. Looking back at Christmas over the last 150 years on Radio Cayman.
Cayman's cruise tourism is not at risk.
Not at risk.
Not at risk if we do not build the piers.
This is according to the Vice President of Carnival Cruise Lines.
The vast majority of cruise ships will continue to be smaller ships that will tender for the foreseeable future.
Of the 22 ships on order by Carnival Cruise Lines, only three are mega-class ships
destined for the Caribbean.
It is also a fact that the fourth largest mega ship in the world,
the MSC Margavalia,
will call on Cayman from October 2019 by tender.
By tender.
Cayman's thriving cruise sector has grown steadily by 14%.
We will not lose any current revenue without the piers. But we may jeopardize our stay-over tourism,
which generates 76% of our tourism revenue.
Is a cruise pier really needed?
There are currently too many unanswered questions.
Our government must get this right.
For us now and future generations.
Make an informed decision. It's your constitutional right.
It is your constitutional right. Sign the petition, support the referendum, and let's build our future together.
You need Fidelity Health.
At Fidelity, they offer great coverage through a highly rated and trusted carrier, payments I can afford, and with no on-island deductible on all the plans they offer. Best of all, they offered my company 50% back on the first month's premium.
Make the easy switch to Fidelity today and get 50% cash back on your first month's premium until December 31st. Call 949-7822 to make your switch now.
Follow Radio K-Man on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio K-Man. Radio K-Man. Radio K-Man's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
Highwater, a hedge fund operating in the alternative investment funds industry, hosted its annual champagne brunch to raise money for the Crisis Center recently, the shelters for female victims of domestic violence on the Cayman Islands, and was given $18,000 to finance its ongoing work to protect victims of domestic violence. The large sum was made possible through the generous donations of attendees to the annual event hosted at Ebanks on Saturday, December 8th. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, businesses that trade with the EU need to take steps now to prepare for the possibility of a no-deal Brexit. Financial Secretary to the Treasury, Mel Stride, told the BBC's Today programme there is a call to action now. HMRC has published an update to its advice on how firms should prepare for a no-deal scenario. However, Mr. Stride called the prospect of the UK leaving the EU without a deal an unlikely event. A train has slammed into a bus carrying school students in southern Serbia, cutting it in half and killing 5 people on board. Dozens of people were injured and 2 teenagers were fighting for their lives after the accident, which happened early on Friday near the city of Nis. A child and 2 adults were killed instantly, while 2 other adults died later in hospital. And a former Canadian diplomat detained in China last week is being denied legal representation and is not allowed to turn off lights at night. Michael Kovrig, who now works for the International Crisis Group think tank, was detained on accusations of harming national security. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
This season, Vigoro is stocking something for everyone in our 2 garden centers. Christmas decorations, terrariums, succulents, ceramics, blooms, orchids, bromeliads, garden sculptures and accessories, mobiles and garden furniture, water fountains and wall art, and even fairies for the little ones. Make it a Vigoro Christmas with a gift that will be treasured forever. Vigoro on Agricola will be open on Sunday, December 23rd, 11 to 5. Both garden centers will be open on Christmas Eve till 6 p.m. Merry Christmas from Vigoro.
How would you describe Siwa Sayin?
A language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Okay, I like that definition. Now let's get back to the show.
Siwa Sayin?
Started. Hello. Okay. Hi. Welcome back to Siwa Sayin. This is not your regular voice. We're waiting for Sterling Dwayne to come back from the bathroom. but anyway, we're talking December. Anything happening in Cayman in December, and we have as our guest, thank God, Mr. Steve McFeel and Mr. Frank, I should say Dr. Frank McFeel. And okay, let me just go through some of the things, see if I can visit through them, okay? We got ads in these, again, December 1969 paper. We got Laxa Airlines schedule, Cayman Airways Limited. And this would be like the first, the first year that it's, or second year, going into the second year, because they're now celebrating the from 68, 50th year.
Yeah. That was, what, 6 or 7?
69.
69, but that was probably the second year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is the second year in existence. And also here was BWI. What, we call it BV? What do we?
British West Indian Airways.
Yeah.
BWIA.
So that was, and then it seemed like about $59 to get to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Sterling Dwayne is coming back in. He's got something holding. I hope that's not from your bathroom venture. Okay. This is all highbrow stuff here. Okay, let's talk about. I don't know if
I was talking about Uncle Bulla.
Uncle Bulla. Yeah, you got finished. Sorry. Yes,
I was talking about Uncle Bulla.
But the marchers. But remember what we were going to say. Yeah. We were going to paint. Yeah, but we were going to paint the pictures of of the marchers. So who could be a marcher?
So anybody could be a marcher, but only the man hitting the march has to be respectable and a man who could control other men.
You're avoiding the question. Could any colored person,
any colored person could be a marcher?
Did they ever in existence, like some mixed person say we want to be a marcher?
Sure. Anyone who wanted to go and march with the men could go and march if they wanted to.
But I mean,
he's not too convinced.
No, I mean, the thing about it is to bring that. Do you bring that up? That's a very important point because it's a point that I always like to sort of reflect on, because what you had in the marches really was a kind of like hierarchy of local men, with the leader being on top, and we go down the line. But that hierarchy, your position in that hierarchy, has a lot to do with your ability to be the bully.
Yes.
To be the bully.
Yes.
And to really be able to keep order, because you've been accepted as the leader,
the tough guy,
the bad man.
But and this was the leader, and this is the same guy's enforcer.
Right.
They were all the same guy.
Right.
The cow card guy and the leader.
Right. And he would have the cow card to beat them, to put them into and to expel them from the march. You could be expelled from the march. You get nothing.
You get
no gift. You get nothing. You couldn't march with the men.
You made problems.
You made problems. Well. And so, like I said, they're coming down now. They're going to Scranton, right behind here, the government house there, right behind here now. End the march.
They used to be like by the tamarind tree.
By the tamarind tree. But that was central. But down there in Scranton.
Is that the tree that still exists there?
No. Hercules had that down a long time. That was one of the largest trees in Cayman.
Oh, yeah, I remember
the tamarind tree.
Yes. So, I heard that there was going to be this feud.
Wood place?
This feud.
By the wood place?
Okay. Yeah, almost there.
Yeah.
And the feud was about, my grandmother used to call it, you see, them LBD, people call them Bakra people.
Bakra.
But my grandmother used to say LBDW. Light bright, damn, they're white people. them like LB.
But hold on, this harkens back to our now African English show.
Yes.
Where we talked about all the Africanness that's in our culture. And Bakra means what?
Bakra means white people.
White people.
Yes.
And do you know what my grandmother or Gan used to call me? Little old Bakra.
Yes, little Bakra boy. So my grandmother used to say, and those women now were hard to find in Georgetown because we live in the black area of Georgetown, and so when those women, those light skinned women would come into that was they were considered to be prizes, like from East West Bay, North Side or Cayman Brock.
You get a conch shell.
And we knew that. And we knew that some of the first ones that got married into them was Charlie Martin and Juke's father, Boye. Now, Charlie Martin's father was a very important man in the community. He was a roadsman. He did all the roads in the country. You heard Arthur Martin. He was like head of public works in those days. And Juke's father was one who had black man had to own the car. So he was married to Miss Hazel from West Bay, and Charlie Martin was married to two of the most beautiful women I have ever seen in my life. They were from Mayoton's daughters called Edie and Haiti. They were more. My mother used to say to me they were more beautiful than the movie stars, Haiti Lamar and all those people those days. They were more beautiful than them.
There was a family, Todd and Frank and Floyd.
They were family too. I forgot who they family to. Yeah. So that morning now, I heard that old Miles from up in Scranton there. Scranton was jealous of Miss Ursa, which was Leon Bird's wife from North Side. and they were going to settle it that Christmas morning. They were going to settle this dispute. So they're all marching, hip hip hooray, glory, glory, hallelujah, glory, glory, hallelujah. England got the money and Jamaica got the rum as we go marching along. And that time Leon Bird was in the Guinea grass.
The Guinea grass. I haven't heard that word in a long time.
Waiting with his half a machete sharpened. And Harold was like near 7 feet tall. Tall man, wear size 20 shoes. And when he was coming up now, behind him marching, Leon rushed out, boom, 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 and pushed the machete right through him. The handle on one side, on one end, and blade on the other side on the back. And everybody say, Leon, pull the machete out, pull the machete out. And he said, no, I'm not pulling that damn machete out this morning. He said, because I ain't finished drinking yet. If I pull the machete, I'm going to start bleeding. And he chopped there the whole day with the machete, stuck right through the side. He drunk white rum. He drunk macaw. He drunk everything.
Hold on, Frank, is that true?
until he fell right down. And when he fell down, they got a hammock. They rolled him in a hammock, and some guys put the hammock on their shoulder and carried him to the little hospital, which we see where the immigration is now. They had a little hospital. There were 2 bedrooms. Dr. Horder was there. And we rushed up there to see what was going on. We could see right through the window. And we see Dr. Horder sewing him up with the old needle. And those days, but they had what they call plaster. They put the plaster on him. No bandage, Just because taking plaster over the little bandage to stop the wound from bleeding. And they let him out, and he went right back drinking that day. Then Leon took off and went into the morass. You know what the morass is? Morass is the mangroves.
Yeah.
And everybody saying that night, keep your door shut, keep your window shut, don't open no window because Leon Burr is gone. And then next morning, say Leon Burr was at the police station. And I said, well, what happened to you, Leon? You had to run away from after stopping Miles, eh? He said the mosquitoes were too thick. Yeah. Keep him gave himself
up. Take that.
That was a problem for people who would try to run away. The mosquitoes would really send them back.
Mosquitoes were too thick.
Pick them up and bring them.
That was the first morning going to march, and that was your first. That was my experience with the dispute with the men.
That don't sound like a dispute. That sounds like attempted murder.
Yeah. Well, nothing happened to Leon. He probably spent a few weeks in jail and went, and then Miles said he don't want to press no charges. So that was the end of it.
All right. Well, Susan said we have 3 callers.
Yes.
Let's take our callers. And Mr. Clive, join us back. Hey, Mr. Clive, welcome back, sir.
They got to be brief, though.
Yeah, Mr. Cobb. Trying to call back again, but you mentioned something that's very close to me.
Yes, sir.
About my brother Jesus. The way they're changing what Christmas was meant to be. And some places are Xmas, Christ, it's not Christmas. Now take Christmas of Kris Kringle, who was what they call Santa Claus. Wow. And he's more worshipped now than the Christ Jesus. This is probably a time of rebirth, renewing anything, And it's an old story, but that's all I want to go home. Anyway, he was actually born on the 19th of March. We don't celebrate Queen's birthday the same day either. But an old Cayman story, if I may mention this for leave. One time, years ago, when I first getting hotel houses on the 7 Mile Beach, someone ran the people off their beach. And some guys went down and got a truckload of those children and took them down there and said, you see a mark, the high water mark? You keep down below that in the sea. You don't go upstairs. And that whole waterfront was covered with children. Therefore, he called the police and said, I can't run them. That's the law. They're below the high water mark. We can't touch them.
And that mark was up by the vegetation?
Yeah. He said, look, if you continue with this, we can have those children down there every day. He got the message. They kind of stopped that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, all right, let's take the next caller. Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for sharing.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Mr. Steve and the rest of the panel there. This is Christine Burke Richardson, Miss Lucille Seymour's sister.
Oh, yes.
Hi, Miss Christine. Merry Christmas to you.
How you all doing?
Fine.
Good. I was just listening. I normally I must say, I love this show. Although, a lot of people don't like it because it's so cultural. But if we forget where we're coming from, we don't know where we're going to end up.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the best shows that the Radio Cayman have. And we need to keep it going. The only thing I say is that when you are going to discuss a certain issue, like someone talked about my son.
Yes.
And I think Mr. Steve said that he didn't know who he was. Well, let me tell you a little bit. By the way, Lucille is off the island. Otherwise, she would be talking.
Yes.
My son was my grandmother and Jerusha Bush's brother. They were twins.
Mm-hmm.
And Hate and Edith would have had called Miss Jerusha. That was her niece. Those were her nieces. And I don't know if you all remember my grandmother, but she was a short West Bear with very long hair. You could call it white skin. Let's put it that way. And beautiful woman. Very pretty, but very short. But she lived most of her time in Georgetown with my mother. And she was then married to Henry Watson in East End.
Okay.
That's how you get Winston Watson and George Watson.
Okay, yes, okay.
All of those. So then you see the complexion becoming differently.
Yes.
After, but you know that didn't matter in those days. But yes, my son Bush and Jerusha Bush was twins in West Bay.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're all family to like the lady there that sings. What's her name? She just died a few years now.
Julia.
And Julia. They're all family. All of those are family.
Mm-hmm. Patterson
Jerusha,
then?
my son, and all of those. They're all family.
And what about Edie and Haiti? Those beautiful girls.
Yeah, they were belong to my son. They had to call my grandmother aunt.
And they had a brother too. Who was a very, very good looking man. He used to pass my mother's house going down to Frankston Place and Farmer's Place, and my mother used to say, "What a good looking man!" And he should stop drinking alcohol. I can't remember.
Yeah.
So
Patterson would be part of the family too?
Yeah, Patterson was part of the family. Yeah, Marie and all of those. They're all. It's a big family.
So
do you have your have you mapped out your family tree?
I don't have it. They still have it. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. That's great to know where you're coming from, and know where you reach today and where you're going tomorrow. That's really great.
Right. Yeah, you're right. But again, I congratulate you all for keeping this show alive. It's very important. It's important to me.
It's not easy to keep it alive.
Maybe young people might want to hear a lot of the stuff, but
no, I think they do. But it's available. You'd be surprised that it's not available to them. Is what it is, and it's not where they go. And you can if you missed the show, you can get us on YouTube, Radio Cayman. Just type see what I'm saying, live stream, or in our thing videos.
But Miss Christine, thanks, Mom.
Thank you.
You might try.
Merry Christmas.
I love you because you're so. I love you because you're so natural. You're just like you.
I'm on steroids, is what it is.
Oh goodness!
I'm on steroids. That's why I'm so buff.
Hey, caller, Miss Susan, or break? What are you?
Call.
All right. Okay.
No more caller.
Caller for now. All right. Gents, join us when we return. Stay tuned.
I am worried about my employees' health insurance. Are there any companies out there that I can rely on for great coverage, affordable payments, and who will work to make the switch as easy as possible? Or am I asking for too much?
You sound like you need Fidelity Health. At Fidelity, they offer great coverage through a highly rated and trusted carrier, payments I can afford, and with no on-island deductible on all the plans they offer. Best of all, they offered my company 50% back on the first month's premium.
This is too important. Today's the day I'm switching to Fidelity Health.
Make the easy switch to Fidelity today and get 50% cash back on your first month's premium until December 31st. Call 949-7822 to make your switch now.
It's Christmas fun for all with the Flow Quad Play bundle for a year and weekly draws for Samsung soundbars. To win, sign up for any Flow service, including our new Quad Play bundle. Top up $25 or more, or pay your bill on time and in full. Our Quad Play bundle is filled with the fastest broadband, HD quality Flow Evo TV, excellent mobile call quality, and home phone with up to 2,800 international minutes. With over $40,000 in prizes, that's fun for all with Flow. Visit discoverflow.ky for more. Terms and conditions apply.
The only bad workout is the one that never happens.
Make 2019 the year you commit to fitness. Let King Sports Center put you on the right track with their Get Fit 2019 sale from December 15th to January 15th. 2-for-1 Powerhouse Gym memberships for $600 or a single membership for $325. And call them to find out how you can take an additional $100 off this sale price. 946-5464 or visit kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, providing your fitness, recreation, and relaxation needs. Remember, fit is not a destination. It is a way of life.
Eats Cafe, Legends Classic Grill, and Yoshi Sushi, located in the Cayman Falls Center on the West Bay Road, offering you Cayman's best choice for a great dining experience. Whatever your taste choice might be, a hearty breakfast, a delicious healthy lunch, a scrumptious evening dinner, or a light taste-tested in-between snack, it's all there at Eats Cafe, Legends Classic Grill, and Yoshi Sushi, all at exceptionally pocketbook-friendly prices in comfortable, happy surroundings. For the sports fan, NBA, NHL, Premier League, there's the multi-big screen televisions to watch your favorite team win. Eats Cafe, Legends Classic Grill, and Yoshi Sushi, Cayman's family-friendly dining favorite location. And to everyone from Eats Cafe, Legends Classic Grill, and Yoshi Sushi, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all.
See What I'm Saying is a special feature of Talk Today with contributions from the National Museum, a language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM. See What I'm Saying?
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Mr. Wray, we back.
You're back.
You hear what I say?
I do know. Okay, let me go 1910. Let me get this one, please. 1910. Hear this one now. This is from Hearst. It's Hearst Notes. My spectacles. Hold on here. Underwater. I can see right through the desk now. Okay. No, December 31st, 1910. There were living in Grand Cayman 9 persons who were born slaves. They were distributed as follows: West Bay District 3, Northside 1, Georgetown 8, Prospect. See, Prospect is a different district. Prospect 2, Bordentown 11, East End 4. So there's a total of 29 slaves who were still living in 1910. Here, you know. 2 were over 98 years old. 2. But right up above in the same page now, in the same page, we have a Captain Sterling Rivers, 1819, bought from Isaac Simmons, February. It's not a December thing. This is just a Sterling thing. February 13th, a Negro man named George for £100. Well, I got to figure out how much that was. But we were averaging like 3,000 a slave or something like that. We averaged.
Yeah, that was a lot of money.
That was a lot of money. £100 is a lot of money. £100 could build government house.
Yeah,
almost.
Oh no, I can tell you how old is it? Because I just calculated how much Shara Jackson had to pay for murder.
Okay, £20.
60
pounds.
5,000, 5,300 or something like that. 5,800 something. So that was 60. So this is close to 7,000 probably pounds that Your namesake.
No.
Received payment at the same time by D.G. Davis and Isaac Simmons, and it was signed by A.O. Furtado and Isaac Simmons. So Captain Sterling Rivers. Okay? That's a seed. Go plant it. See how it go. Yeah? See if it go into a tree.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So in 1910, you said?
1910. 10 was a slave thing.
People who had born in slavery.
Yeah, that picture of them slaves, they're
Yes.
somewhere in there, I bet you.
People had born in slavery, and it's so.
That's that famous slave picture that
Yeah.
came out. That's probably them in there.
Yeah.
Some
you
woman
bring,
98.
you bring in slavery up there, and I'm doing a lecture at the university. I think it's on the 9th of January. We have a visiting university coming from the States doing the DNA. They do DNA testing.
Nigerian and Cameroon. For me.
Yeah, and I actually was tested, so I'll know my results.
You getting the results there?
And of course, I'm.
You can. That's the hardest part of it.
But I
70% European.
No, it's Yoruba, not European.
That's what you're hoping, Yoruba.
Yeah.
But don't be
I'm
surprised.
hoping for the Yoruba because
know.
I mean spiritually I'm a Yoruba.
Yeah, we'll see. I thought we were Ghanaian too because we got Kwamina in the name.
No, but I mean the Yoruba is Nigerian.
Yeah,
Yoruba. So I
think we might be. I think I had that, but we had a couple of them.
Yeah.
I mean, we got so much.
Yeah,
we got like whole Africa
All
in
right.
there. So.
Gents, Ms. Suzanne, 2 calls is there? All right. Listen, thank you
They
for
gotta
joining us.
be 2 minutes long.
All right, let's go to our phones. Thank you for sharing. Good afternoon.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. Good afternoon, gentlemen. I would like to praise you all for organizing this educational discussion about our past history. Raymond Scott here from the Bracken, wishing you all a Merry Christmas and many more to come for you all there at the station and everybody around the
Yes,
Cayman
sir.
Islands.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, and I would like to say that I am one that maintains the old Caymanian tradition with having the Christmas beef and the cassava and the white St. Vincent yam or the white yam for that special occasion and the red strawberry syrup, and sometimes we have the sorrel drink as well. That's something that I look forward to every Christmas, of having that at my place. And I don't grow that kind of stuff, but I got orders for it. I already got some local beef. A friend sent me from Grand Cayman, nice local beef. And on Cayman Brac is probably about a total of only about 5 or 6 cows that are butchered for Christmas. I think we only have about 4 or 5 cattle owners here. Probably got only around 100 head of cows on the entire island. And I know a lot about the history of Cayman Brac. If you all have any questions about it, and a lot of the special statements and names that were given.
Raymond?
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah. I'm very interested in the history of Cayman Brac, as a matter of fact, and because of I'm interested in the sociology, really, from the sociological aspect, and because I want to be able to explain how the communal sort of aspects of Cayman Brac has been maintained over a much longer period of time, whether or not from the very beginning it was much more of a solid, much more of a cohesive society, united society, and what might have been some of the reasons for that.
Interesting.
Yes, sir. As the information about the history, such as the Scott generation, Foster's, Ryan, some of the early settlers in the island. Sir Robert Scott was sent from England by Queen Victoria to survey the Cayman Islands. I was told, this is the information I got, and coming to Grand Cayman and finding Mary Eleuthera Bodin in Grand Cayman. Then they moved to Cayman Brac and settled, and I am the 6th generation ahead of Sir William Robert Scott, and Edward Scott would be the grandson of him. Give the first piece of property free to the Cayman Islands government for the first cemetery at the West End. That's located right near where I was raised up in my community. That a lot of land was given by Edward Scott for the first cemetery, and that's one of the oldest cemeteries in the West End. And that also has a total vessel crew that drowned around 1889, December the 6th, 1889, was a phosphate schooner that came to load phosphate by where they call Kudda's Wharf, just west of where I was raised up, which is now sold to the rich woman that you heard about investing in Cayman Brack. She owns that property now that has Kudda's Wharf. And the schooner was wrecked, repeating that, in December 6th, 1889, and all souls on board were lost. They were all drowned. They had a total of 5 crew, 6 captain and 5 crew, and one cabin boy as young as 16 years old was drowned, and they are buried in the northeast corner of the cemetery at the West End, a big open area that is unmarked. There's very few people knows about that the Topsis crew drowned and was buried in the West End Cemetery, and that ended the export of phosphate from Cayman Brack, which was going on for about 50 or 60 years out of the area called the Cotton Tree Land, where grew large cotton trees, and that's where Scott Development has their block plant now, and it's all owned by Scott Development. The area where they used to mine the phosphate, and they had a stone wall which is remaining, a section of it on the east side, adjacent to my mother's house where we are living now, because I don't have my own house since Paloma. It never got finished, and still waiting for it to be finished.
Yes, sir.
That stone wall can be surveyed or inspected or photographed. I told my brother, don't ever touch that stone wall, because that's the only history we have.
Now, Mr. Raymond, I would like you, respectfully, if you would give Ms. Susan your telephone number, because Dr. Frank wants to touch base with you. So just before you disconnect, give her your telephone number so he can call you. And thank you very much, Mr. Raymond, again. Let's take one other call. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon to you, Sterling Green. Good afternoon to Dr. Steve and Dr. Frank.
Good afternoon to you.
Wonderful program. I know you don't have much time, so I just want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, happy, peaceful, and blessed one, and a prosperous and peaceful New Year also.
Same to you, sir.
Yes, what you mentioned there about the slaves that were killed alive in 1910. Up in the Peter St. James house there is one picture of some former slaves, and 2 of the women in that photograph were 98 years old. I've been trying to get their names and stuff like that, and I know it would be very difficult now for anyone to recognize them with the grandparents that might have spoken to a grandchild or something of them. And but it's a rare picture, and I think it's 9 or 10 of them there, and 2 of them are as young as about 81 and 84, so they would have been very children when the actual papers that was read out, which we all know that didn't end. Slavery was abolished long before that document brought here 10 months before and read out by Captain Pack, Georgetown and Morgantown and at Peavey on the May 6th, but that ended the apprenticeship thing. But it's what you all are talking about is so very interesting. I hope a lot of people were listening to realize that came on. I don't like to say these words, but it's history. It's gone by because generational Caymanians, I know I've said this before, sound like a broken record, but we are at a minority, generational Caymanians. So we are a very unique situation in this country. No other country in the Caribbean is anywhere like this. We are a minority, 130 different nationalities, and we are definitely a minority. So, it's a very unique situation, and I'm glad you gentlemen keep continuing the cultural lessons, and it's so very important, Dr. Steve and Dr. Frank here with that, and we're trying to, bring up these things on this, see what you're saying, program and so forth, and Sterling Green. I must commend you all on this. And
thank you, sir. Glad you noticed it.
Many people may not think so, but, a lot of us older people will think so, and there's a lot more could be said, but you don't have the time. So thank you very much. Thank you so very
Merry
much.
Christmas, sir. Thank you too, sir.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Hurlston.
Thank you.
Mr. Hurlston. Merry Christmas.
So, Dr. Steve, people like you, Dr. Frank, and others, certainly without question, add great value to it. But as the call is shared, this is fun. This aspect of it.
Yeah.
But it's eye-opening. As you look through some of this.
I like to think of it as we're the brown sugar that lets the medicine go down.
Well, it's also the fact that we can start a discussion and we have one intention, but then if we're creative people, then we will also meet other goals as well. I mean, that's what creativity is about. That's what I love about Wray, is that he has thought and he has absorbed quite a lot of what is important in terms of defining what is Caymanian.
Yeah. But respectfully, though, I mean, sorry, Reed, 'cause I don't think people, whether it's higher ups, in posts, or whether it's just people in general, don't appreciate that this is a lot of work, and you go through a lot of stuff in order to get it down. Something that I keep harking on. He discovers the breadfruit, right? 10 years earlier than published. Captain Blythe, right? 10 years, right? Shh, okay. I mean, some things.
Yes, some things that I feel bad that I'm discovering.
Yeah.
The story of Bosun Bay is a pirate story, actual documented in the history pirate story.
And that's going to be a next year show?
Yeah. And then also our possible Jewish ancestry.
Mm-hmm.
So,
the thing about it, I mean, I've thought.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. When you think about the size of this population, if you think about how it was started, and then you think about the
size of which population?
The Cayman Islands population.
Which Cayman Islands population?
The original population.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, the people who came here originally, like for instance, the Fosters and people like that who started the wood cutting and how
the Campbells and the Fosters,
and then you started with gangs of African slaves that were cutting and moving the woods and different things like that.
I'm doing 1600s.
Yeah,
and then with the DNA, I'm seeing some of the stories they said about us with Mayan and West Northern African slaves and Jewish pirates and all that to be in the DNA.
Well,
so that was I think we talked about.
But what I was saying is that what actually creates a society is not just biology or genes, but it's environment,
the structure,
the social, the cultural, the linguistic aspects. This is one of the reasons that we find that there is a lot of dominance of West Africa in Caymanian culture. Because the people who sustain culture are normally the working people, the active people, the people who
the
bulk of it is in the lower classes, always in society that sustains popular culture.
You think it's the lower or just the
well, when we say
predominant,
we say lower to mean the higher, what is determined by hierarchy to be at the bottom, but not that doesn't necessarily have to do with the quality of those that are at the bottom.
No, I just meant I was wondering about whether it's the lower part of it or whether it's the most prevalent, the largest population in that class.
Well, it is that segment of the population who doesn't change too rapidly, because and has to do with migration.
It has to do with expressions,
expression and migration,
and the types of expressions that are allowed that people have. To occupy themselves and to actually sort of reinforce their particular solidarity or relationships with each other. So what we see, for instance, if you look at the sayings, what were you saying? What are you saying? If you look at those particularly linguistic aspects of what you're interested in, you would see the West African influences in all of it.
But when you talked about the biology, and Wray has, for me, championed the idea of the DNA, and I'll say it, I'm not quite sure I won't put that there for the intelligence agencies.
Who want to take you? Who want your DNA?
But the notion that you have it, and I think something that should spur people, especially this Christmas, as they're talking amongst family and friends, learn a little bit more, get a little bit more interested, be a little bit more not only curious and inquisitive about your ancestry, but be more respectful and appreciative. If I could share something with you, in the documentation, just even in today's show, right? The Key West Flagler Railroad, 1910-1912 area. It says, early in the construction period, there was a group of Italians that were recruited. When they came there, they looked at the weather and they decided, well, this is not what they want. So they staged a mutiny, demanding that the company return them to New York, and that was done. But it says one of the largest groups of laborers and some of the most dependable workers all came from the 3 British islands, Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, and Cayman Brac, right? And
we helped build Flagler Railroad.
Yeah. And the notion, and the reason why I mentioned, I talked about that ethos, that work ethic, that we've seen, indicative of us, and we haven't, sort of spoke to. But the last part I talked about, 2 weeks before Christmas, they would all get up on their boats.
They would quick.
And come home, and then come back in January in their own vessels. Return to work again, beat the mosquitoes, and do the like. It shows you that, something that we have to embrace, as Dr. Frank, you shared many times. This is just the tip of the iceberg, if even that.
Again, it's value. I mean, because it's to get our society to a point to be able to appreciate that what we should love and what we should celebrate is not just the material aspects of life, but it is those it's consciousness that we have to embrace and celebrate. So what you're talking about in terms of memory means that once I'm acquainted with that becomes part of my consciousness, and it's how I use that then to it's growing consciousness and growing awareness.
I think too, before Dr. Steve, allow me, when I think of Christmas, right, Ray was asking prior to the show, as a young working adult, the banks, the insurance companies, the law firms, that sector, people had a skeleton staff within the offices. You went into work, you had some, half day in different days. I believe our ethos was that Christmas time, people were festive, they celebrated. There were some goings on and the like, but it wasn't this run mad, constant materialistic, 24/7 nonsense that we see now. And I'm wondering, are we losing out on the opportunity to embrace that? Work has to be done. Society has progressed, things have changed. Nobody's saying that, but it's not unlike what it was back then. It was just
Yeah, and a lot of modern societies are trying to get back traditional.
Yep.
And the European and the Scandinavian countries, they're trying to recreate their system where they were happier with the things that they had.
And we're trying to work on Sunday.
Yeah, that's why I keep saying more is not better than enough.
Yeah.
And I would say ignorance is the first penalty of pride. Yeah. I think people say, "Oh well, I got all this phone now, and do you have the latest?" Well, so what's the difference between the 9 and the 8 or the 7?
Yeah,
it's the same thing. It's not taking you any higher. And I think that the problem that we've had with our history, as we try to portray it, is that a lot of us were not happy of where we come from.
Well,
we're not happy with the reality of who we are and where we come from, and that's a problem that we've had. And I think that's the kind of difference that we've had with other people. Mostly when I travel to other countries that I've never been to before and don't know anything about, that's the first thing I do. I've ever go into a place like Sweden, and they have an island up there where the island creates a whole history of Sweden from the beginning. People even dress there, they live there, they live it. We sort of try to forget where we come from, and I think that when you looked at how isolated we were, and in the Caribbean, even though on the main shipping lanes, because of the topography of the country and so forth, and people thought it wasn't conducive to development. We embraced anyone who came. I remember when the warships came, and we could get to go board the warship and the Boy Scouts. Boy, that was the best thing to happen to us. Boy, we couldn't sleep at night to go to South and things like that. You see, and so we grew up with this sort of inferiority complexes.
Yeah,
a lot of us. Anyone who comes from a different place, it doesn't matter if the place poorer than we are. We're not concerned about that. They're better than we are. They're better than Caymanians. They're better than we are.
Well,
and so we start to believe that, and then other people came and saw. Other people came and saw that's our rational seal, and they reinforced that and took advantage of that.
I think maybe because we're so different culturally.
But one of the things that I keep realizing, especially when I listen to Steve speak, is Steve always speak like I speak, and I had to become aware of that when I came back from Germany in '77. I always saw myself as the Caymanian, so I didn't imagine Caymanians that were very much different from me because of the way in which our society was. So I realized at one particular point that people were seeing me speak as if I'm the Caymanian when they're saying, "But I'm the Caymanian.
Yes.
They're the Caymanian." And we have never gotten to this particular kind of dialogue, for instance, that we're getting to right now, where we're saying, well, I'm a Caymanian, and I'm a Caymanian, and I'm a Caymanian, and I'm Caymanian, and we're all Caymanians. So that we recognize the differences in ourselves, but the similarities in ourselves as well. And I was really sort of not understanding that, because when I listened to Steve was telling the stories of a particular kind of Caymanian.
Yeah.
You were telling the story of another particular, and it's these dimensions of the Caymanian that we need to be able to identify.
We're still amazed at discovering
ourselves.
It was funny because we were telling this place where you can go this direction and like miles, and then we're getting lost, and then they were telling them, we were like, It's still 20 whatever miles.
Gents,
square miles.
I apologize, but when you see Susan's, we're
way over. We're in another show right now.
Yeah, but thank you very much, both of you.
Can I just say thank you?
Yeah, I want you to do that. But thanks very much. Rebo?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to that helped me out through the year, or through all the years, from the archive, Trisha, Tammy, Cherise, and then condolences to Miss Carol, lost a battle this year. She was also helpful at the archive.
Listen, Darkers have been phenomenal to us.
Thank you for asking us.
Gents, honestly.
Yes, thank you, sir.
It's amazing. And I hope that people, Caymanians in particular, but all of us, embrace what this country has to offer.
Because it's a lot and it's good.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Thank you all very much. And this is, the last year I was saying for this year. But then we've got a couple more days left in the year anyway.
Yes.
And
hopefully
next year.
For next year.
So we can we kind of previewed earlier. Bosun Bay, we got the Jewish thing coming
a
on.
Jewish statement, and maybe something else about breadfruit.
Yeah, it's amazing the stuff that's out there.
Yes.
Have a blessed, merry, safe, prosperous, excellent Christmas.
Too.
And Dr. Frank?
I was just thinking, what happened to Miss Carol Winkler? All of a sudden, you said something. Carol, is she still around?
She's still around,
I haven't seen her on the bike.
I wish her a Merry Christmas. Miss Carol Winkler, wish her a Merry Christmas.
See how we remember?
And that girl from third form high school that I had a crush on, I wish you. My number's out there somewhere.
Yes. And with that, I'll try not to follow suit.
Merry Christmas, everybody. See what I'm saying?
Merry Christmas, everyone.
A little taste of what was that song? Until Monday. Be blessed.
See what I'm saying?
See what I'm saying?
See what I'm saying. You don't want to miss this unique, informative audience participation, light-hearted show with lots and lots of Cayman jokes, culture, and guests.
I'm April Cummings from Radio Cayman's newsroom. So for my family, Christmas is always a time for us to remember, to share, to laugh, tell stories, and to give thanks. My wish for you this holiday season is that you'll take the time to enjoy your loved ones and really focus on the spirit of love and Thanksgiving. Have a Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year from my family to yours.